I call my kid.
When you're being an ego, little maniac, you little bitch.
Can we hit the timer when you get a minute?
I can't wait to listen to the story.
Porter, you came loaded.
Porter is loaded.
Porter brought.
Bring some snacks or something.
Porter brought coffee. What else? What do you got in that bottle?
This is my hydrate.
Some hydrate, some coffee, and what
Triple
else do you got over there?
Double stack on roast.
Double stack of roast. Coming in hot today. Welcome back. Welcome back, Chris Porter.
Why does Brady look like a nerd?
Because I scratched glasses on.
I scratched my eye and I wanted to heal. Went to the doctor on Friday. My girlfriend scolded me and she's like, "Do you want to fucking hunt the rest of your life?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Do you want to find a big bull for your brother this week?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Go to the fucking doctor." She's like, "I'm tracking your location right now." And she's like, "If you don't go to the if you swerve and go to the office, I'm gonna come over there and cut off you know what." And she's like, "You need to not mess around with your eyes." And I'm like,
Brady, your girlfriend sounds kind of mean.
Wait.
She also sounds like she's got a great head on her shoulder.
Yeah.
What did you do to
I don't know. I
scratch
was shooting in the desert that morning, so dust maybe. I was reloading in the evening, probably all sorts of powder and trimming brass. Maybe I had brass shavings. But my trimmer, my trimmer though has like a cover on it. I don't wear safety glasses. Probably should start wearing safety glasses. But it has a cover over it, so and it's not like it's shooting up a bunch of stuff, like because the brass has been shot multiple times. So yeah.
Welcome.
I don't know what caused it.
Big O. Oh, Big O just walks in.
So yeah, I went to the doctor. They put a bunch of dye in my eye, cleaned out my eyes. Like, "Oh yeah, you definitely scratched your eye somehow, and you should not wear your contacts for at least 5 days." So I'm a geek right now. I don't drink that.
For 5 days, you can't wear contacts?
Yeah, 5 days.
Oh,
so I can,
brutal.
so like Wednesday morning, I can start putting my contacts back in.
Brutal.
So yes, I look like a
Did
geek right
anyone
now.
catch? There's a at the top of his little
His
bit
rant?
there. Yeah, his little rant. He disclosed something that was quite interesting. Did anyone catch it?
Tell
he does
me.
shared location with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I share with my
Yeah,
girlfriend.
who doesn't?
Oh, me, I won't do that.
Because I'm a trustworthy
share
person.
No,
location
my
with-
wife and
with
my
your
daughter are
girlfriend.
trying to get me to do it. I won't do it. She'll tell me I'm late and she'll tell
It
me.
saves so much headache.
No,
It does.
she'll be like,
Because then I don't ever have to text. I don't have to do
No,
anything.
I'm with
Yeah,
you.
they know when I'm
So
driving
much.
over. Like, you guys know how freaked out I am about sharing locations and like people being able to see where I'm at. But it's like it's my girlfriend. Like I trust her.
I don't even care about the trust or anything. I just care that now I don't have to text you ever. Like, I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to check in and nothing.
Well, they
there's
could,
something to be said about that. But I'll tell you what, we put one of those Ring cameras above our garage,
Yeah.
and she can see my truck in the driveway. And just that little bit of data has tortured
Well,
me. So I'm like,
you are always late, so I don't blame her for tracking you like that.
that's not true.
That's too much. Don't you think it's too much? Is it like teenagers right now, right? They have these apps. Is there a Snapchat app where they have like a friend group and they can see where everybody is at all
This
the time?
is your world. I'm not in this
is
world
too
yet.
much. I'm like, why would
That's
you want to
weird.
know where everybody is at all times?
on social, no,
Like,
never
just-
on social
I
profiles.
mean, it's not everyone. I just do it with my wife.
Yeah.
No, they do what he's,
yeah,
They
do
do
what
like
he's
that. You
saying.
can pull
It's
it
a
up
whole
and like
thing.
you can
I
see a
already know
heat map of where everyone's
I
at.
agree.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't want everyone knowing where I am.
Yeah,
It's just my
that's
wife,
so
so then
weird.
I don't have to.
Yeah,
then I don't have to text. I don't
You
have
guys
to
know
do
where you're
anything.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife does it with my kids. She always knows where they're at. And I am always texting her being like, hey, what time do I have to pick up whoever landed? And she'll tell me and I'll be like, where's he at? It's a constant follow-up where she always knows.
So maybe you should follow.
Maybe I should. I don't know.
It's actually
It
a
feels
pretty
weird. I'm like, why would I want? It's like, why would I want everybody to know where I'm at all the time?
You don't know everyone, just your family. It's
fair.
a great
Yeah,
feature.
we're
Fair
having two
enough.
different
Different
Two
conversations.
different things. It's not everyone. It's just one person,
I'm
and it's
with you,
restricted to
Porter.
one person only.
Porter, I'm with you, man.
Should be like,
It's too much.
you're gonna be late. Why are you still at the gym? Like, it's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, what are you doing at the gym?
Well, if you're on time
I'm getting
and have
ripped.
nothing to worry about, then you have nothing to worry about.
no, she will find something to worry about though. Like, even if I'm on time, she'll be like, why aren't you early? Like, I just.
I'm going to give your wife some air tags for Christmas, and she'll just slip one in your truck.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she can track you.
Don't do that.
Welcome to the podcast, Chris Porter. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
You're just back, you and Lorenzo both from a hunt in Colorado. So we're going to talk about that today. I want to hear how it went.
Can't wait. Went really good.
And last time we wanted to dive into Colorado and talk season dates for the next, 5 years, Brady?
Yep, next 5 years.
And we never got to it because we dove headlong into talking mule deer.
Mule deer in Utah.
I went to the rack meeting the other night, by the way.
You butt dialed me at the rack.
I did. Yeah.
I got to hear a bunch of people talking in the background. I thought you were calling me to
like
say some like great
important,
intel. Like,
important date.
yeah, like, hey, we need to cover this right now.
That meeting started at 6 o'clock, and I left before it ended at about 11:15.
Gross.
It was a long meeting.
Was that quote
say
that we
the-
said they want everything and anything?
Yeah.
And all
They
the
want everything for
everything
cheaper
everywhere
and
on-
only them.
Everything
All the
everywhere
best.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually interesting. So people showed up and kind of voiced their they didn't really love the lowered buck to doe ratios, as you might imagine. A lot of people want to see it back to 18 to 21 at a minimum, and then a fair amount of talk about it even being higher. And then they dove in, the division dove into kind of what that might mean. And I don't know, people are just, it's like I said on the podcast, it's hard to know where everybody kind of has a different idea what they want, right? And people generally want higher buck to doe ratios, but then that also means you're probably not going to draw as often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got some comments like that on YouTube. They're like, well, why can't it be like the Pawns or Henrys where it's a lot higher?
Where
But
you never draw?
but they're like, well, everyone wants those tags, but it's like 25 to 35 plus buck to doe ratios. And it's like, well, yeah, because they can't offer as many tags then.
Yeah, the
because
Henrys
it's so
is
high.
like 40.
Yeah,
on the
it's
ponds,
super high.
which is great. It's great for hunting, but I mean, you might be 20 some years to draw a permit
Yeah.
as a resident.
But a lot of people are asking, why can't you do that in other places?
You can
But-
totally do it.
Yeah, but
It's
there's
just how
always,
long do you want to wait to actually hunt it?
Mm-hmm.
And what's that mean to you? I kind of sit somewhere in between. I think 18 to 20 is a decent ratio, but I did want to try lower ratios just to see what it would do to overall productivity of the entire herd as a whole.
And that's the goal
That was
of this
the
whole
goal
thing.
of that. Yeah, it was the whole gist of the whole committee and everything. I thought it was interesting though. I'll just give this the last little update, but the Pine Valley, right? So they wanted to change that. We kind of voted and talked about it as a committee to make it 4-point or better, with the exception that youth could shoot any buck.
Yep.
And there were quite a bit of favor from basically overturning that and saying, nope, if we're going to go 4-point or better, everybody's going 4-point or better. So no kids can shoot any buck they want.
That's brutal.
It's pretty tough. Like I don't know how
That's brutal.
I don't know how you apply for the Pine Valley with a kid and take them out there and potentially put their first buck in front of them and it's a 3-point and you're like, sorry, can't shoot it. That'd be tough.
That would be
Yeah.
tough.
I mean, in the favor of it, I can see that, if you are going to study what 4-point or better can do, I can see where it makes sense to just like, let's make it 4-point or better for everybody and let's just see
Because
what
we
happens.
we don't know
We know
what
what's
that
gonna happen.
law or what that rule does.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we know it's going to increase.
all
we
studies in
know.
Wyoming.
we have
yeah,
no clue what
yeah,
that's
we
going to
know.
do.
And we hashed
Right?
that out really
Yeah.
a lot.
But
Okay, yeah.
it's going to be pretty tough, man, to apply for the old Pine Valley for your kids. I wouldn't recommend it. It
Yeah.
might be a pretty shitty
That's
experience.
a brutal
I
one.
think they could possibly make it happen so you could do it for people who have never shot a buck could shoot anything. But if you've already shot one, you can't anymore. I don't know how they.
Well, you
How
can
they-
do it now because you have this mandatory harvest, right? So I
Yeah.
guess going forward, you can maybe do that. But
Like if it's literally
The thing-
I've never
the thing-
shot a deer, you can shoot anything. But if you've already shot
yeah.
a fork and horn before, and now it's your second year as a youth, like you can't. You have to shoot 4-point now.
The thing about that is like I almost kind of agree with it because it's like if you are going to make it 4-point or better, like make it 4-point or better, and within 3 or 5 years you'll be able to say yay or nay on productivity.
It's gonna make the unit pop, won't it?
No.
Well, it's
No?
gonna make your buck to doe ratio shoot through the roof, which is interesting because if then you're trying to manage the buck to doe ratio within, we'll say they're going to leave it at 18 to 21, right? How many permits do you have to allocate
To
to try
actually
to
get it
maintain a
down
buck
to
to
that?
doe ratio of 18 to 21 where it's still 4-point or better? It's going to get complex.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's going to get dicey.
You don't think that's gonna pop age class?
Not at all.
it
It's been
does for like
studied.
the first 2
It's
years.
been studied a ton of times. Not every buck's going to be a 4-point.
Oh yeah, I mean yes.
So if you kill all the 4 points and you leave the 3-point genetic in the unit, what's going to happen?
Management.
The other thing that might be interesting about it is you might actually increase, which you probably will, you probably increase your pressure on 4 points because people are going to hunt harder because
Yeah.
that's the only buck they can legally harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it may
If
get
we
co-
kill all the 6-foot people in the world, is there going to be any 6-footers left?
That's one way to look at it. Probably.
Just Brady.
Yeah.
I'm gone. 'Cause he's
It's just
6'4".
not every person's going to be 6 foot. Not every deer is going to be a 4-point. Old doesn't mean 4-point, and 4-point doesn't mean old. We talked about this on the last one.
Anyway, it was an interesting rack meeting to say the least. And you
Actually,
know,
yeah. Just thinking of this, my Colorado hunt that was just on. We were hunting elk, obviously, but I saw a badass 3-point, like a one I would have killed if I had a deer tag, which I didn't. But it was an awesome deer, 28 wide, whitetail, front fork, not back fork.
Yeah, not
heavy, heavy, old, real white faced. I'm like, dude, that's a
buck you
cool
shoot.
buck. That's a stud.
Yeah.
Imagine having that in front of your 12-year-old and you can't shoot it.
I know, suck.
Did you guys see the funny comment from Dustin Whitworth today
No.
on our reel? Can't mount H class.
There you go.
That was his little comment.
There you go. Yeah, it was. There was a lot of people showed up to voice their favor for restricted weapons hunts, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it sounds like there's more people that are interested in that than I would have thought, and that's including rifles without scopes and old style muzzleloaders.
Are we going to take compound bows and remove sliders?
No, man, no.
Oh, okay.
Compound bow hunting's hard enough as it is.
Dude.
Don't
Let's
get crazy.
slide that thing out to 150, 160.
Don't get crazy.
Did you say rifles without scopes?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Seems a bit out there.
Yeah.
We won't hash it now. You and I have had this discussion a lot. It's like you could take all those technology pieces away, but you still have the same season dates we have now. So you're really not taking it back to the 60s. If you want to take it back to the 60s when deer hunting was really good, they could hunt deer in November and they were still killing big bucks. So like it's still going to be tough, and you're still going to have more pressure on bigger deer. So
It's just weird.
It's not really. I don't think it's going to do exactly what they're intending it to.
We live in a weird day and age.
It's also not the 60s on the landscape, which
No.
is
Yeah.
you can't take it back to there. There's way more houses and
I mean, I would love
Way
to.
more roads.
and more highways
Yep.
and more everything.
Yeah.
Do you anyway, it was the whole thing was kind of interesting in the fact that we went with the division plan. We talked about it a year ago, where we talked all these restrictions, season dates, 4-point or better, weapons restrictions, all these different options. Some of the units had all three. They took that to the board. The board didn't like it, voted it down. Then we built a mule deer committee. A mule deer committee met 10 times over 6 months. Put together a plan. Plan came out of it. Plan's now going through the rack process, and they're going to take that to the wildlife board. And any indication off of the rack meeting that I went to in the southern region, it looks to me like we're pretty much just going right back to where we were before this all got started. Like we're going back to pretty much the same management that we had from 2022. Which is just like, what in the world?
It's typical.
What
It's
in the
extremely
world?
typical.
Yeah, I just feel like...
Let's put together this huge thing of all these experts and everyone from all these different walks of life, and we'll see what their input is, and then we won't use any of it and just go back to.
And I'm going to say something controversial, and people probably, they're going to hate it, which is okay with me. But I think the rack process, that whole process that they have in Utah, where you've got 5 regional advisory councils, then you have a wildlife board, and you take all this input from all these different people, and you have public comment. I think it's broken. It doesn't work. My opinion, do whatever you have to do. Get rid of the rack process. Have a wildlife board. Have them composed of maybe 5 to 10 people that are really clued in to wildlife management and deer management, and really clued in to social demographics and what people want from hunting. You could have put this plan together in 2 hours. You could have voted on it. You could have put the responsibility back into Game and Fish. Let them do their job. Let them determine permits based on the plan.
That.
Man, we're golden. We go forward, right? Because essentially what we did is we just keep kicking the can down the road, and we keep coming back with the same plan that we're in. So in my opinion, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Too much.
Like too much feedback.
Yep. I kept texting people that I knew
We
that
need
were there.
Elon Musk to come in.
That's what I
Department
said.
of
That's
Efficiency.
exactly what I said. The Department of Deficiency.
Yeah,
is what it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
We need Doge to come in and take this over.
Yeah.
Try with
Anyway,
a hot take.
that's my hot take. Get rid of the rack. Just get rid of it altogether. It's too much. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Doesn't make sense.
Yep. Anyway, before we get going, I want to talk Colorado. I need to hit some promos. So we got a couple promos to hit. One thing I just wanted to highlight is that we have the Black Friday sale going on.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Black Friday, Chris Porter?
It's a great time to shop.
Porter's a big shopper.
I am.
You,
I love me some Black Friday.
Are you Where do you shop mostly, Porter? What do you
I
buy?
get like commodity stuff on Amazon, but
Gucci,
nothing
Gucci.
like
Versace.
yeah, right.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. Yep, that's a big one.
Yeah, no,
No, not a big shopper.
no, that was designer stuff.
But we do have a killer Black Friday sale going on here in the shop. That runs through the 5th. We have daily deals. I saw today the daily deal, which I guess this probably won't go out till Thursday, so it sucks to be you if you're hearing this now. But man, we had Hanwag Mocker Combi boots, 50% off. It's a smoking deal. But check the daily deal. I'll have another one when you guys hear this podcast on Thursday. So check in, see what the daily deal is.
This is why you should follow us on social media and also subscribe to our emails. Get our emails to see these deals right away in the morning. Buy the gear.
And then also, so you can use the promo code podcast if you sign up for a GOHUNT Insider membership, which you should do. If you're not a member, you absolutely should have a membership. It's paramount in getting permits. The name of the game in the West is research and knowing how the state draws work. It's packed with all the information that you need. And special, if you use the promo code podcast through December 5th, you're going to get 100 points back in the GOHUNT Gear Shop.
100?
100.
100.
One hundo.
It's the product now. You know, when we're combining research, maps, and community, and we're about to launch. By the time this goes out Thursday, our insider redesign should be live. If not, it'll be live within a couple days. So it's on the doorstep. It's teed up. That does a couple things. One, it allows you to search across multiple states at once. Right. So you make sure people are putting their points in points tracker, because the platform is so much more functional
and you're talking preference points and bonus points.
Yes, put them in wherever you have them, and so your results are dynamic according to your situation, very personalized. And then now you can search OTC and draw tags at the same time. So if it's like, show me all my elk opportunities for 2025, and then as those draws start closing, as Arizona, I think Arizona is the first one, right? Arizona elk.
Wyoming elk.
31st. Yep.
As those close, the platform will then adjust and show you if you have the toggle on for just show me this upcoming hunting season 2025. And as those close, those opportunities are eliminated for this coming year. So the system, the platform becomes much more dynamic with this redesign. And then a couple weeks after that, we're launching guided search, which is a really, really cool experience. For all hunters, but especially newer type hunters, really guiding you through, like just helping them. All these states are such complex regs and systems, and so we're really trying to simplify it like a Zillow type experience.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I think it's phenomenal being able to just say, like, for me, I just want to hunt mule deer. Show me every single state I can get a mule deer tag in.
Yeah.
And then I can.
What are you
narrow
hunting
it down.
for tomorrow?
Hey, now.
Yeah, what is it? Where are you headed tomorrow? Elk hunting?
I mean, I'm elk hunting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There you
Just
go.
checking it.
Just checking.
Okay, so yeah, where I can find an elk tag. I have to hunt those nowadays because mule deer pops. So
Yeah.
I'm doing the hottest.
So you use the promo code podcast, 100 points, which is $100 to the GOHUNT Gear Shop.
Until when?
The 5th
5th of December. Okay, so sign up.
Smoking deal. With that, I promised last podcast that we didn't touch on, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Colorado season dates.
Colorado season dates. Yep.
So what can you tell me, B-Mills, about Colorado season dates?
2025?
Yep. It's going to be 20.
We're looking forward even above and beyond that.
Oh, gotcha.
Their next roll.
Their
of
next cycle.
rules. Yeah.
So they recently approved, I was back in June, like the 12th and 13th, they had a bunch of meetings, and they approved their 5-year big game season structure. So that's 2025 dates through 2029. And also people should remember, too, that they recently changed non-resident license allocations for 75% residents, 25% non-residents. For most hunt codes, previously it was 65-35. So also makes things a little bit harder. Now you have these season date changes, and then high demand ones are still 80-20. But you have a lot of things going on. The big one, well, first I want, I'm going to go over right now, but I really highly suggest people go to the article on the website, and you can read all this. You can see all the graphics. I even put all the old season dates. Like I have season dates from, let me scroll here.
Brady has the season dates from like when?
He's
How
got it
far
all.
back? 20 years?
From 2012 all the way through then 2029. So you can kind of see how they change throughout their 5-year season structure and how it's going to potentially benefit you. Like, for archery, for example, back in the day it was that last week of August it opened,
Yep.
and now it's September 2nd through the 30th. So like high country mule deer hunts who want velvet, now it's you still can get that velvet hunt, but it's not as good. So like just consider things about that. But now it's potentially going to be a better elk hunt in a way because you get longer rut dates. So like that's why we're going to talk about some season dates. But like go to the article, check it out, see it for every single weapon type: muzzleloader, first rifle, second rifle, third rifle, fourth rifle, OTC.
What ones jump out to you the most? Like, what ones are you the most interested in?
Is
Why?
this just a call to action to go to your article? Can we?
Yes.
Can we get this,
Oh, we're going to get to it. We're going to get
It's
to
like
it.
clickbait.
There's part of this that I know Porter's gonna be into.
But the biggest one people should pay attention to, and I was trying to give some scenarios maybe we can talk about now, is Colorado went away from all over-the-counter, non-resident archery elk hunts west of I-25 and GMU 140 are now going to a draw.
Yeah.
So if you've been hunting over-the-counter elk,
Yep.
archery, you now have to
As a
draw
non-resident.
as a non-resident.
Mhm.
Residents will still be able to pick up over-the-counter licenses, but non-residents for archery are now a draw. You'll still have second and third rifle OTC for a lot of units, but it's going to go to draw. So now people have to make the decision. If you've been building points up for all these years, like me, for example, I have a lot of elk points in Colorado. I'm probably not going to want to burn them on OTC hunt, or people wanting to burn them on it because
There was an OTC hunt.
what?
Yeah. There was an OTC
Yeah.
hunt. Yeah. So you've got a bunch of units that were over the counter that are now coming only available through the draw, and people are going to have to make a decision how much it's worth, like whether they want to burn any points that they had, or
I wonder if some of those will be second choice.
That's
Some
what
of them
I'm-
should be second
that's
choice.
what I'm hoping.
Yeah, but there'll be some that
I don't know
go
how
to
much
like
I wanna
0 point first choice.
Yeah, so I don't know how much I want to throw that out there because I don't want that.
Yeah. I mean,
But
after
I'm hoping. My hope is that some of those will slip to second choice.
If you're a member, you'll be able to figure that out. Shameless plug.
We'll figure that out for you.
But keep going. What else you got over there?
I mean, I can go more in depth on that, but I mean,
No, we don't need it. We don't need a novel, a
There's
dissertation.
one I'm
What are the mule deer dates?
the big ones to me is going to be muzzleloader. Okay,
Muzzleloader what?
muzzleloader
Deer?
muzzleloader deer. I'm
Okay.
just going to focus on mainly deer. So that season's still staying 9 days. But the thing that's going to be beneficial
When's
is
the
like,
start?
yeah, that's the big thing. That's what I want to talk about. This is how you can use these season dates to your advantage and start building up points now. Maybe you already had points. Because like last year, the season opened September 14th and ended September 22nd. Pretty late for a muzzleloader hunt. So now every single year, so 2025 is going to open the 13th. And then when it comes down to 2029, it opens September 8th. So you get a lot better high country velvet mule deer hunting if you want to wait. It's like, are other people going to wait too? Is it going to be harder to draw those tags? Should you try to draw it now? That's why you have to think about that strategy about, what should you do? Do you try to draw a muzzleloader tag? I mean, because September 8th
When did it
is
open this year? 12th?
the
The
14th
14th.
to the 22nd.
I got one for you, Porter.
Talk to me.
So first regular rifle elk season.
First rifle elk.
2028, 2029, October 11th through the 15th, 2029, October 10th through the 14th. What's that do for you? Anything? You get any tingling in your plums over that? No?
October 10th.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when I had a 2023 tag. When
Yeah,
did
yours
mine?
was
2023 was October 14th through
October
the 18th.
14th. I'll tell you what. You're definitely getting second cycle on October 10th.
for sure.
Yeah, see, that's a big one.
Those bulls aren't in that late season mode yet.
Yeah, so I took my kid when he was 15 at the time. That was the last year that they had it, the 10th through the 14th. First rifle elk season. It was one of the best rut hunts I think I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Second cycle cows, man, they were screaming all day long.
Yeah.
So that one for me, as I look through the season dates and kind of the structure change, that's one that I definitely put on my calendar of I need to be aware of that because I love the fact that first rifle's slipping back.
That's
for elk for
interesting for sure. Those 4 or 5 days make a big difference. Like the first couple days of mine, so that would have been 14th, 15th. It was mostly just the younger bulls, but they were screaming their faces off. Imagine 4 days before
Yeah,
that.
4 days earlier.
That's well,
Second rifle's kind of a big one in a way. Still going to be a 9-day season, but now you're going to get earlier and earlier season dates. So for 2025, you're starting October 25th and ending November 2nd. And by the time you get to 2029, you're starting October 20th and ending October 28th.
Ooh.
So now second rifle potentially doesn't get maybe that chance for snow, cold weather, ruddy bucks. But maybe you could hunt them higher too, which could be a benefit if you want that experience as well that time of year. So it's like,
Well, and it
why
might
don't you do
change
that?
your odds too. That's where my mind goes. Is like you might have more people that if they've got some points, they're probably going to be more likely to apply those to a third season hunt rather than a second season. So you
Yep.
might have some second season hunts that open up that'll be easier to draw.
I like October 20th.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for that reason, I think it's gonna be easier to draw. Back in the day, it was those dates, and you could still hunt them high, and they were really easy to draw. Like,
Yeah.
I just like the fact that you could hunt it and not miss Halloween and get
Yeah.
yelled at.
I know.
Oh, there you
I was
go.
actually thinking the same thing.
So you're looking at 2028 and 2029.
Yeah, yeah.
Lorenzo can still dress up as Batman when he gets home.
My wife's a big vibes person. If I
Yeah.
miss any of the vibes days with the family, I'm in big trouble.
Fair enough.
And then it should help deer because you would think they've been getting they're getting hammered the last few years.
Yeah, and that's the big thing then on third season. But third season now is going back to a 9-day season.
What is it right now? 8?
7 days.
7.
So you have only one
7,
weekend that
yeah.
ends on a Friday. Now
Two
you
more
can
days.
now you can get 2 full weekends to hunt third season.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Let me see these dates.
Yeah, you could go Saturday all the way to the next Sunday.
Yep. So season dates for 2025 open November 8th and November 16th, and then when you get down to 2029, they open November 3rd and then November 11th. So they're getting early and earlier as well. So like the late one we had recently, like in 2021, it opened November 13th and then to November 19th, and it's been
That's
going a
crazy.
day earlier since then.
Mm-hmm.
So
Still,
they're not
still really good dates.
still good dates.
And now you get 2 more days to hunt, huh?
Fourth rifle is going to
We
still be.
used to have those exact dates. I feel like.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
like 2018, for example, November 3rd to the 11th. So it's
Yeah.
going to be similar to that 2029.
Yeah.
What year did you say? 16?
no-
18?
The 18, yeah. It opened on November 3rd and then the 11th.
Interesting.
I mean, this one that just ended. I mean, that is so late.
Yeah, it was November 9th to the 15th.
Have you guys seen it? Did any big bucks get smoked? I haven't seen a ton.
Seen
I've
some
been,
This
good
year?
bucks.
Some
Yeah.
good 80
Crushed,
bucks,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
With that
yeah,
snow?
this year in
mean-
Eagle has been nuts.
Really?
Yeah,
So did that snowstorm kind of...
$6 over 225.
No way.
Yeah,
Jesus.
That's crazy.
yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
yeah.
Do you think it was the snow?
I mean, that definitely
Helped.
helped this year. There's so much snow. up
They
high
had
this
to pull
year.
down.
Did you guys see many... We'll get into it. Did you see many rutting deer?
I wouldn't say rutting deer, no, but
Yeah.
a lot of deer.
A lot of deer.
Like they're piled out.
Interesting.
Then we jump in.
Porter's got something in his sleeve over there. Look,
No, I just.
No, he knows I'm gonna crush him.
All right, we'll go forward.
it's all over. Are you a poker player?
This
I feel like you wouldn't be real good.
This is fake news. I'm telling you right now, wherever Lorenzo goes on this pod, it's fake news.
This is not fake news.
Whatever Porter saw, he's
And
grinning ear to ear.
We have our country back now. Censorship and fake news should go to the wayside. I am jacked, by the way. Jacked. You see all these posts? Misfits are taking over DC. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen some posts.
yeah. See,
the
You
best.
have to be living under a rock not to see them all.
It's the best.
All right, let's jump into fourth season quick. It's going to continue to be a 5-day season.
I'm like falling asleep with your dissertation
no,
over here.
I'm like, I want to see where these dates go.
This is like
So
this is the
fourth-
best fourth season dates.
Is
5-day season.
going back to pre-Thanksgiving.
Pre-Thanksgiving now. Now, 2025 opens the 19th, ends the 23rd, and then 2029 opens November 14th, ends the 18th.
Is it 5 days still?
5
It's
days
always
still.
been 5, yeah?
Yep. So not
we're
going to go
getting-
into Thanksgiving anymore.
It used
We're
to be
getting
7,
back
I
real
felt
early.
like.
It's been 5
It's always been 5?
for always, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's hard kind of about fourth season because if you get a bunch of snowfall and you lose 3 days of hunting because of weather and you can't see things,
Yeah.
well, you have 2 days of hunting left, but you get really good dates.
But
Good
we're
snowfall cold.
getting real early, back to the real early days.
Yeah.
It's good.
28, 29.
Good for the deer.
So there's a
Yeah.
bunch of things you should consider when you're trying to research this year or apply, or do you want to build points and
Bank 'em.
not apply?
When's
Bank.
archery deer start?
2nd of
so-
September.
yep.
That's so late.
And runs through the 30th. And I don't think that one's changing.
Stupid.
I know.
That one makes it really tough. I've been looking at archery in Colorado for deer because I'd like to go there and
Makes elk
hunt.
cutting real tough.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Makes it really tough.
That's the thing is like first world problems, but how do you go, from archery deer hunt and roll straight in? I guess you do it, you could, but it's a lot easier when it opens up in August and those bucks are in velvet and maybe a little bit easier to pattern and see.
Yeah.
And you get a break maybe between a deer hunt and an elk hunt if you're just pretty much a bow hunter.
Those deer start to act different
So
after Labor Day.
I'm not in love with their Colorado archery deer dates.
No.
No, and the stack on top with muzzleloader, you have early rifle, you have archery hunters all in the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you got muzzleloader hunters in there. Yeah, I don't love it. I mean, I was looking at it this next year because there's a unit I would like to hunt. I've got some points. I thought, it'd be cool, draw an archery deer tag. But reality is, if I go there and start like opening day and I hunt 10 days,
Yeah.
like what do I do? Roll back home and high five the kids and then head back
Roll right back out.
for an elk
No,
hunt? It's pretty tough. Yeah, that's tough.
Less than ideal.
Yeah,
And
less-
didn't it used to be like the 25th?
You used to
Yes.
open up in
August 20. It
August.
hasn't been that for
For a while.
2018 was August 25th to September 23rd.
And then you end on Labor Day versus start on Labor Day.
It's a bummer too because all the other Western states, I mean, they have an August opener pretty much.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's Wyoming open? Wyoming's kind of late too, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends. This might be September 1st too for deer.
I think it is September 1st.
Yeah.
But everyone else is August.
Isn't that wild
Yeah,
that they open that late and then they let rifle hunters come in?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
September
the Wild
15th.
West.
It's Wyoming, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, we probably should. Is there anything else you want to say about dates? Any other take homes that you were
No,
thinking
I mean
about?
the OTC one's gonna be the biggest thing going away for archery hunters for non-residents, but it's gonna shake things up a bit. A lot of people are complaining about overcrowding and not a great hunting experience. And
I've had a lot of people in my DMs being like, "What are you going to do? What's your plan now for elk? Now that it's gone to a draw?" And I think the thing that I would point out to them that I've been telling everybody is it's more imperative now than ever that you have a multi-state strategy because they're like, "Oh, you're going to skip elk hunting?" And I'm like, "No." If you want to do general season in Montana, I can do that 1 year, build a point or two. Then I can go back to Colorado. Maybe I go to Wyoming on a general tag if I've got 5 or 6 points. You just got to play the game. You have to have a multi-state strategy. And it's more important now than ever,
yep.
and increasingly so.
That's why it's gonna be great, that new Insider redesign.
Man, it's going to be sweet.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting. They're talking. I've heard through the grapevine that Colorado will change their draw system in 2028. So it looks to me like deer, elk, antelope, and then also change for once in a lifetime species. But it sounds like they're going to go to a hybrid draw system similar to Utah's. So it'll be 50% allocated to the people with the most preference points, and then 50% randomly allocated with weight given to the number of preference points that you have.
Wow, I haven't heard that. That's a big change.
Big change, especially for Colorado.
Man,
I don't know how I feel about it. 'Cause
I'm
it's-
mixed on that.
Yeah, the thing that sucks is it was nice to know like you knew when you would draw in Colorado.
That is nice.
And now it's like, you still will know, but there's going to be less permits on the table because then half of them are now going to go to the random pool. It also wonders, like, do you mix up your strategy? Do you swing for the fence on a hunt
Wow.
Yeah, because you have a chance now.
because you got a chance? I don't know. And it
Yeah.
might make some of those easier to draw units easier to draw because you got more people that are like, I'm going to take a chance on a 44 third deer tag, So I'm going to bail out of an easy to draw unit and not have it as my first
I'm sure
choice.
that'll happen.
I'm sure it will too. It could be like a weird mix of opportunity that opens up. Everybody keeps asking me about this. What's going to do to odds? What's going to do? I don't know, man. I'm going to have some data to look at for a few years to have an idea.
It should, on the OTC stuff, it should spread people out. Like there'll be a couple years where you get stiffed and it'll suck, but like it should make the experience a little bit higher quality and spread people out.
Depends on how many tags they allocate.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have the tag numbers yet for the
That's true.
draw for the.
So I know that
They're gonna need that revenue though. They're not gonna like.
yeah.
cut it like
I mean,
crazy.
I know a unit that wasn't an over-the-counter unit. It went to a draw. The first year I applied for it as second choice, and I drew it, and I ended up turning it back. But even in the turn back list, there was like 500 permits left over, even in even in that list. But it didn't take too many years, maybe
Until it caught
one
up.
or two, until all the permits went in the first draw. So it's tough to say.
Yeah.
You might have a couple of years of a grace period where you can pick up some of those as a second choice or off of a leftover list, that didn't make it. But I don't think it's going to take too long for people to figure it out where they can draw with no points and bank on it and go. But
Change is hard.
it is
change
hard.
It's just tough. It's mixed.
It's not the end all, though. I mean, it's not going to end hunting opportunities. You're just going to have to be that much
No,
more
just gotta
clued
play
in.
the game.
You got to do the research.
Yeah.
Makes
just
it
play the
makes
game.
it that much more interesting. With that, let's talk Colorado. Let's talk your guys' hunt. I want to hear all about it.
There's a lot.
Is there a lot going on?
There was
Give
a lot that happened in 5 days.
Really? It
4
was
days of hunting.
Action packed.
Yes.
Oh man.
Give us a rundown. Who went? Where?
Yeah.
Why? What were you doing?
I'll let Porter start with that because he put the hunt together.
This is poor. This
Logistics king.
logistics guy.
Well, this all started with Scott Butler, Scotty BLV. He
Recently moved to freaking Dallas.
He did.
we'll give him not a pass for that, but
I'm
we'll
just finding.
Are we
that
gonna
out.
give him a pass?
He retired from the Air Force, and he's been a great friend of GOHUNT, and he's been wanting to kill an elk for so long. And he's helped on a couple of his buddies' hunts. He's never been able to kill for himself. So Porter came up with a great idea for a retirement gift or like retirement party. Let's do an elk camp and take him hunting and go kill him his first bull. Great idea. I said I was in immediately. So Porter got to work on putting everything together.
Did you plan this whole thing?
He did.
A little bit. I mean, Nate and Brandon helped execute it for sure.
Did
But
you pick the areas?
it's an area that we've hunted deer at. We have a lot of experience in the area, and we like the area.
Gotcha.
It was like more group.
Gotcha.
Brandon's been there quite a bit.
Nice. So give me.
You did not give much detail into putting this group together.
Well, I missed the first 3. It's a weird thing, right? Where I was very a part of like planning early on, and then it was my birthday. My wife had gotten Eagle tickets, like the
Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah.
And
Philadelphia.
no, not the NFL team.
Hotel California.
Oh God, it's so good. At the Sphere, it was sweet. So
Oh,
anyway,
nice.
like I couldn't. That was the Friday where it opened Saturday, so I missed the first 3 or 4 days. So it was weird. I'm trying to let you tell the story because you were there more than me.
We were in the beginning stages. I
Yeah,
was letting
beginning,
you
the
talk
planning.
about how you planned it.
Planning
gotcha.
why this season.
We've
for
had
other
Porter on
season.
2 podcasts now, and both times he's been going on a hunt, and he's been to a concert the night before.
Oh, Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, an archery
and now
opener.
the
I forgot
Eagles.
Big
about that.
social guy.
Big
social
social guy.
No, so like, I mean, Scotty's he's been on the pod
Yeah.
before. He's one of my best friends. Good guy. I'm still mad at him for moving to Dallas, but
He is moving. I didn't know that.
he moved.
He moved.
He just
Oh, he's
up
gone.
and moved with like a
Done.
1 week warning.
Yeah, I didn't even
No
really know.
way.
I was
And
excited.
it wasn't for work. It was just because.
For good
I heard it was a
times.
rifle
Yeah.
tag, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll go shoot rifles together. And I'm like, oh no, he's
No,
Yeah.
lives in
Dawn.
Texas.
He just did he say goodbye to you? He didn't barely say goodbye to me.
Yeah, barely.
Did he send you guys a text?
No,
that
I
he was
didn't
leaving?
even know. I'm finding out right now.
Tell him to-
We'll listen to this because he's an avid listener and he will not love that, but it's the truth. The truth hurts, Scotty.
It's all right, Scott.
Um,
Still much love for you, bud.
But no, we play. He like Lorenzo said, he's killed or been around like a lot of great animals. He scouted with me a couple times when he lived here. He helped our buddy Zach kill his first elk, and it was like a spot that they had 2 tags. Scott did a lot of the e-scouting. Scott, went there bonsai by himself in the summer to scout, and then Zach was lucky to punch his tag, and Scott didn't punch his tag, and then Scott didn't draw last year. Zach drew. So like he's been around, but he's a lot of great hunts, but he's never actually punched his own tag. So this was a big like you are killing. These guys were nice enough to say you got first shot. So it was like let's especially if OTC goes away in the next couple of years, it was like let's go do an elk camp. Let's have a blast. Late season's cold and just freaking smoke some elk and have some fun.
So you had how many people?
There was
That one photo I saw looked like you had a whole crew there breaking that one bull
8
down.
of us.
The hunters were Scott, Nate, and Brandon.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we'll start, I guess, the full group. On top of that, we had Porter, me, Omar,
Little O.
Little O.
Omar and Joe were both filming for us.
Nice.
And that's it, right?
You had a
that's it.
crew.
We had
Yeah.
Did you guys do a big wall camp? Wall
No,
tent
we
camp?
did the VRBO.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're bougie. They wanted to bougie on it.
Not me. Nate actually and Brandon picked that. It was
Honestly, I'm a big fan of it, though. After you just grind through the entire
That's
season.
funny because
It
of
is
the
cool.
whole group, Nate would be the last one I would think would be like, I'm a big.
The guy lives in a trailer and it waltz in his entire life. So when he gets the opportunity,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, it's
when he gets
Yeah,
the
that makes
opportunity,
sense.
way over a year.
That makes sense. So you see a lot of elk?
a ton.
Really?
Yeah. So Porter wasn't there because of his birthday. It was
'Cause
also
the
my
Eagles?
birthday the next day, but I was there the entire time. So
That's,
funny,
that's the first dig of the podcast.
funny how that works.
You didn't have Eagles tickets?
No, and
He's not a
I
social
would-
butterfly.
and I would never go it's hunting season. It's like
true.
not my fault
Very
I have
true.
a hunting birthday. It's hunting season. So when this whole thing was coming together, he asked me. He said, "Would you go?" I said, "100% I'm there. I don't care." And he even said, "Well, it's your birthday." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. It's hunting season. Like, doesn't
What a way to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's a great
the
birthday
best way to
present.
celebrate." We won't get into the conversation we had after that about life choices, but so anyways, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I'll go. Like I'll take Scott. So because Brandon and Nate really wanted to kill an elk too. I'd already killed a spike this year. I hunted with Omar in the high country. Like I'm
guided Omar.
semantics,
Still
words.
a lot of guiding this
Yeah.
year.
So I told him, I said, absolutely, I'll take Scotty. So Brandon and Nate can go, and I'll take Scotty. Just like I'll get the rundown of where everyone's going, the whole thing, and I'll have the responsibility of taking Scott. Like perfect. I don't want to hunt anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. So I showed up on Friday, the day before season, Friday night. I drove in. I had Omar and Joe with me, so I drive into the VRBO, pull in there, and these guys are like, "You got elk over here. I got elk
They've
over
been
there."
there for a day or two?
Yeah, they had been there for 2 days.
Oh,
Scott
wow.
had been there. I think all of
They
them
all
had
got
been
there
there for 2 days.
Thursday.
They had been scouting like
Gotcha.
a ton.
Good intel then.
So I walk in and they're like, "We got elk here, we got elk there, we got elk this and that." I'm like, "Okay, cool. So where am I taking Scotty tomorrow? What's the plan?" Well, Scotty went scouting here and he turned up a bull that he liked. It was a 5-point, like definitely mature. It wasn't just a raghorn legal for like he scouted it himself. He found it. That's where he wants to go. Perfect. Okay, that's the plan. And then Brandon and Nate were going to a spot that they had turned up some elk as well. So the next morning, Joe came with me and my group. Omar went with Nate and Brandon in their group. And
It's cold.
oh, it was beyond cold.
Like how cold?
This was
Below
still
zero?
so. This is the tail end of the snowstorm. So it was
Oh,
still
gotcha. It
was
broke?
still snowing. Well, when I pulled in Friday night, it was still snowing, and then Saturday morning it was still snowing. So like going out to where we were hiking in from, it was still like
You're
coming
going in the
down pretty
snow.
good.
How much snow did you get?
The high country. You got Chris Brandt, who we had on here.
Yeah.
Did you guys see his
Snowmobiling?
videos snowmobiling?
Yeah.
Dude, the high country is like big sleds, turbo sleds, the whole deal, like full blown riding. That's how much snow there is.
He's so pumped.
I always gauge how much snow by like what sleds are out there. Like if you're taking your timber sleds, like turboed the whole deal, that's
There's a lot of snow.
crazy snow.
That's a good hot tip.
And so that's
Because snowmobilers.
Follow Chris Brandt.
Yeah.
they're not
Late
just,
season
that's how
snowballs.
I've always gauged it because they're not just they do a lot of testing this time of year, like on tracked roads and stuff
Yeah.
that just have like a foot of snow. You need 4 to 5 feet for those big sleds, like those
That
big
actually
timber
is really
sleds.
funny because no doubt he would be the first person up there. Like
Oh,
as soon as there is snow that he can use his machines up there, he'll be up there.
He's there, and he's so pumped about it. His Instagram stories were hilarious. So
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, there is tons of snow. Where we're hunting, we were like shin to knee deep. Like it was
Wow.
a good
That's
amount of
a
snow.
good amount.
They were sending. We had a group text, and they were knee high. But you guys saw herds of elk too.
We'll get into that.
That was scouting, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So anyway, so here's where we're going. Here's where they're going. The whole deal. So I'm along for the ride. I'm like, cool. Okay, this is the plan. So wake up the next morning, get in the car. Scotty's got his maps pulled up. He's like telling me where to turn, where to go, this and that. We're gonna park right here. We're gonna walk up this creek bottom. So we park. We start walking up. So right now is a perfect time to rewind back to June, and I told Porter, I said, I'm not elk hunting. Like I have plenty of elk hunts this year. It would be nice to have a deer tag though, right? Like there's
Oh,
landowner
no.
tag or anything.
Oh no!
Fake news is coming.
And,
Just listen to the
he's like,
exact
yeah,
words
I
he
don't-
uses.
I'm starting to get sick in my
He's like,
stomach
I
a little
don't-
bit.
It's like it's pretty expensive. I'm like, I know it is. It really is expensive. But if I'm gonna be out there, like it'll be a secondary tag to me to whatever Scotty's doing. But like if we do kill early, it'd be nice to
Yeah.
hunt deer. Like we're in a really good deer spot too.
Yep.
He's like, I don't know. I don't think you should do it. It's expensive. I'm like, yeah, but me, there's nothing I would rather spend money on than
The deer tag.
hunting or
Sure,
just
yeah.
hunting in general,
Right.
right? Like something I genuinely want to hunt. He ends up talking me out of it, and I'm like, for a fact, I'm going to see a 180 buck like immediately.
You should talk to trailer.
I'm just
So-
loving Porter's facial
This
expression.
is literally like Fauci saying you
This
have to get vaccinated or
This is-
death will be coming to you. Like This
You
is
gotta
the most
take-
absurd fake news I've ever heard.
I will take the self-responsibility that it was my decision at the end. I just, I was listening
Did
to
I or did I not reach out to a couple people for you?
quote unquote
By
friend.
the way, like I'm like your assistant.
And I'm like, it's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen.
I think we talked about it actually.
So now fast forward back to getting to the trailhead that we're gonna hike in.
oh, we're gonna skip over all the fake news part. You're just,
No,
so
I just
that's-
told the real news. That was
that-
the real news.
Did I not reach out to people on your behalf?
After you felt bad, I think you did. After we passed on the first one.
I miss
think you
having
did.
Porter on the podcast.
I know.
So-
we're getting Porter today.
Yeah.
He's fired
So
up.
I don't have a deer tag in my pocket. And I told Porter, I said, like just a good buck is
Well,
going to
hold
be
on.
out there one of these
That
days.
is not the way it went down at all. So for the record, we need to make sure
Okay, tell your side.
this is misinformation. This is how it starts. You say things
No,
like it's fact.
misinformation.
I don't
no
think
one
Porter
gets
can
to
say anything
decide
because he wasn't there.
misinformation.
He was at the Eagles.
Oh, true.
No. I'm talking about the tag. Of course, it's third season.
Right,
Peak
right.
rut dates. Of course, it's going to see a deer.
Sure.
Right?
So, anyways.
So Porter talked to
He
him
doesn't.
about
He
the
just
deer
wants to
tag.
keep spouting misinformation, not tell his side of the story. So, anyways,
I said, well, this is an elk hunt.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to, we can try to track down deer tag. Could be expensive. If that's the pure secondary thing, are you going to be, you're not going to be really hunting that hard for it. Are you sure you want to do that?
I said yes.
Okay, you did say yes. I said, okay, cool. I'll reach out to some people. And I did reach out to
You
people
you didn't say cool. I'll reach out to some people.
You might have said you're an idiot.
There's so much smarter ways to, to do this and that, and your family and Christmas. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
So
But
what I'm kind of hearing is
family and Christmas. I didn't say you're not gonna have Christmas presents
no,
under the
you
tree.
just said
Santa's
there was-
not gonna come.
You
and
said
you
there
go
were
hunt.
smarter ways to spend that money.
Oh,
So what I'm
I
kind
might have
of
said that.
what I'm hearing is you got influenced by the logistical king because all
I
the
did.
logistical mess just got thrown onto you.
You're right. And I will take the personal responsibility. It wasn't hard to be talked out of it because it is an elk hunt. But my whole thing, I'm like, we're going to see a deer. And it would be awesome to if we kill,
Shoot
if
one.
Scotty kills early, then Scott can come out with me and we can go
Right.
deer hunting. We still can just keep the ball rolling, you know? And if it doesn't happen, whatever. I'm totally cool with eating the tag and not even hunting it if we go down to the last day of elk. And he, said what he said and I didn't have a tag. So we get to the trailhead to hike in. We park. It's 45 minutes, an hour before sun comes up. It's snowing. It's awesome.
it's like
Scotty,
it's like a scene from a snow globe.
seen from a snow globe.
perfect.
Literally. It's taking forever to get light because the clouds are socked in. One of those mornings where
Yeah.
it just feels good,
Oh yeah.
And so we're hiking in the dark, and we're going up, and Scotty's got it on his maps. I'm following him because he's got offline maps and his tracks and the whole deal. And we're walking up, and as the sun is starting to break, he's like, "Yeah, this is where I saw that group of 5 bulls is right here on this hillside." And right then, somebody is coming up behind us, and Joe, the camera guy, is like, "Hey, we have people behind us. What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Just tell them to come up here. I'll talk to them."
Sure.
So he walks up, he goes, "You guys elk hunting or deer hunting?" We're like, "Oh, we're elk hunting." He's like, "Cool, I'm deer hunting. You mind if I just go in front of you and get to those rocks up there to glass from?" I said, "Absolutely. You're a draw tag. We're just hunting elk, for sure, go up there." I said, "Do you have any communication though? Just in case we see a deer?"
something.
It's like, "Man, I don't." It's like, "I don't have any communication." I'm like, "Ah, shit, that's okay, whatever." We'll
Good luck.
yeah, good luck. Yeah, see you later. So he goes in front of us, I don't know, quarter mile, and goes up to these rocks and starts glassing. So we're waiting for it to get lighter at this point because Scott had seen the elk, we don't want to just blow through, right? So we're kind of waiting and waiting. They go up, they get settled up on those rocks. So it finally gets light enough, we can glass all these hillsides, and those elk aren't there, the ones that he had seen the day before. So we take off hiking. About 30 minutes later, and I don't even know, it didn't feel very far, but 30 minutes of walking, I don't know how far that would necessarily be. Something catches my attention out of my peripheral on the left side, and there is a giant deer.
Oh,
And I mean,
Small frame. Though.
big deer. About a 4-inch hook cheater off the
Oh
right,
no.
with double stacked cheaters off the G2, all bladed.
No.
He's only
Left side-
16 wide. Though.
Left side's got a crotch point right where the 2 and 3 splits, like a crown point.
Yeah.
Oh, big old chunky eye guards, mask, black horns, and
Baby
he's
giant.
rutting the
Baby
shit
giant.
Rutting, yeah, oh, for sure.
It'll be big one day. There's like big
Rutting the
chat.
shit out of 11 does.
How big?
Big. 190 plus all day.
Oh, ouch.
All day.
Ah.
So,
Do you have
Ouch.
digiscope with this buck?
yeah. So,
Ouch.
I'm looking at this deer. I could have killed him a ton of times. I immediately turn around and I'm like trying to flag because everyone's wearing orange, right? I can see orange dots in the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Zach's got his orange beanie. We got orange. We're like trying to flag them.
Yeah.
Because the deer, like we bumped them, but it's like one of those rut bumps where they're just kind of like going over the next little rise, and that was it. So we're trying to flag them down, but we're far enough away where I don't want to like hike clear down and lose all that elevation. And I'm hunting with Scott, so like, Scott's plan. So me and Zach took like 10 minutes trying to flag these guys, and we could just never get their attention. Like I would hold my binos up, and when they would look our direction, I'm like, okay, Zach, flag. So, but it just we never got their attention. By the time we finally looked back to Scott was in full mode, like
Kill mode.
killing. He was a half mile up the trail, quarter
He's
mile
like,
up the
"Forget
trail.
that
We're like,
deer."
oh shit, all right, well,
We're going.
we tried, we tried to pull off a good deed. So
When did you get a hold of Porter and say, hey, guess what I saw
that night,
that night?
that night.
What was his response?
They had service when it comes to giving me shit about the deer, but
What
We
was
did
your-
not have service while we were hunting.
What was your response?
I think I just ignored it.
He did. He tried to pass it off, and I just
Just to
kept.
focus on the good. The good.
I just kept.
A lot of
giving
work
it
going
to him.
on over here. Sorry, can't reply.
Small frame though. You got to let him grow. He was
Yeah, you
younger,
only had
younger
like
deer.
11-inch fours, probably.
Only.
Real small frame. So,
Dang.
so, anyways, now this is something. I got a bone to pick with Colorado, and have had a bone to pick with Colorado for a long time, talking about misinformation. We go another quarter mile up the thing. There's a wolf standing on a rock, just perched up on the rock, looking at us.
Really?
Yeah, and
What color?
I don't want to say where we were, obviously,
Sure.
but this is a place where Colorado swears there's no wolves, and that's why they introduced some of those wolves.
What
to
color?
White, like a white gray,
No kidding.
big ass wolf, like big.
That's crazy.
And
Isn't that
hunters,
I almost didn't believe him.
hunters
believe it.
have said
It's crazy.
there are wolves here. We
Yeah.
have seen them. Like this whole introduction thing, like there are already wolves here.
yeah.
And this is not one of the we're far away from the released wolves.
This is crazy.
And we have video of it. It's not great because it's just the handheld. Like we didn't have digiscope because we had the film guys with us. But I mean, this thing is perched up on a rock. And then you immediately Scott and Zach for sure, because they're a little newer to hunting.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I've killed a wolf in Northwest Territories. I've hunted all over sheep country. There's no question the difference between a wolf and a coyote.
Yeah.
Like zero difference.
yeah.
But we're finishing the rest of the hike to get to the glassing knob. It's a long ways. I mean, it's like 3 miles and 2,500 a vertical, so it takes a long time. So you got a lot of time to glass and talk on the way up. Well, those guys start talking like, was that a coyote though? I'm like, dude, no, not
So
at all.
What kind of terrain? Mixed aspen? What kind of brush? What do
Yeah,
we?
we're like,
Like 9,000, aren't you?
9 to 10,000. So you're kind of in that mixed
Gotcha.
type of veg, starting to get into the rocky, sagey meets the aspens and pines kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's so much snow,
Yep.
that's kind of where everything was held up.
Right.
Is right in that band
band.
of
How far away
elevation.
were you?
To the wolf?
Yeah.
400 yards.
I mean, you can definitely tell.
I mean,
the difference.
It's the difference between a pumpkin head and a triangle head.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's so clear,
And size too, right?
Yeah,
They're so
well,
much taller.
Scott and Zach were, asking me. They're like, "You're for sure that so we can say we saw a wolf." I'm like, "Dude, that was a wolf." Not 10 minutes.
Can we say we saw a wolf?
Not 10 minutes into them kind of going back and forth. Scott saying maybe I should have shot it, and then we would have really known. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Terrible, terrible idea.
3 coyotes come running off the top, we're about to the top now, and these 3 coyotes come trotting down.
So you get it for reference.
They immediately put up their glass, look at him, and they turn around to me. They're like, "Oh yeah, that was for sure a wolf." I'm like, "Yeah, there is there's
No question.
It's a round head to a triangle head. It's a pumpkin as opposed to a little spear.
Yeah.
It's so easy to tell the difference."
That's crazy.
So yeah, so they got to see a wolf.
That is wild. That's way far from where they're supposed to be.
Well, they've been there.
Yeah, I think they've been there.
Colorado says there is wolves down there. There's wolves.
When did Colorado go so far left?
That's a good question.
Has it been 10, 20 years?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the history. I don't know.
I don't know either.
They lost their damn minds, though.
It is interesting. The interesting thing about it is that there's still. That was the great thing about the Prop 127 and no vote. It felt like grassroots. You get out and actually speak, logic and sound science. It resonated.
Won by 11 points.
Yeah. So, it can go left, but at least there's, to me, that was a huge testament and
I agree.
Yeah. And just education and just basically grassroots. Truth. Yeah. Just get out and hit the ground.
Truth. Yeah.
That was a big win.
So anyways, like this morning hunt is going incredible. And
again, wolf, giant muley.
Again,
no
I just want to set
either.
the stage. I'm following Scott. I'm not doing anything but like taking up oxygen at this point, right? So we get to the top, this glassing knob that Scott wanted to get to, and he goes, I saw 100 head of elk back here, but it's this nasty roadless area. But there's outfitter camps like kind of down in the foothills, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure if that's roadless, I'm sure they got all their stock there going back there because there's like horse camp. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys have been around the third season.
Is Scott just jacked?
Jacked. Well,
he's so stoked.
I put up my glass, and I'm like, yeah, there's about 150 elk over there.
Really?
Like, same spot he had glassed them the day before, and he's asking me like, do you think it's worth it and this and that? Because we hadn't seen the 5 bulls that he had seen kind of lower on the hill. And I'm glassing. I'm like, dude, there is so much orange over there. Like they're all the Colorado Special for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Do you guys notice this?
Even people had them surrounded.
They all get to a spot and they just sit underneath the tree.
Yeah.
Like no one hikes and hunts. It's an odd thing. Like those third season elk guys, they just get to a spot and sit all day long.
Did they claim the zone?
It must be that.
And wait.
If they are waiting for like shots to go off and something to run to them, that could be a very good strategy because there's a lot of shots going off.
Yeah, or maybe they just get to a point and they're like, this is as far as I'm going.
But if they ride stock and stuff, and then they just sit
keep
below
rolling.
a tree. I saw every day we were out there, I would see people just sitting underneath a tree all day long. Like they would not get up and hike. And kind of makes you think like, are we doing something wrong? Because these guys obviously do it more. Like, is that the right way to hunt this, Anyways.
There's a lot of ways to skin a cat.
So I'm glassing over there and I'm like, dude, there's a lot of orange. I don't know. And those elk are kind of off from them and they're all sitting below trees. So I don't know if they know they're there. But like, I'd feel if you had 5 bulls right here, this is the only like input I've given Scott this entire time. So I'm like, I don't know why we would leave here to go over there with all those hunters. Maybe they don't know the elk, so we could get lucky. I don't know.
Sure.
About 10 minutes later, just sounded like Baghdad. Then put my glass up and the elk are running south and they're running north and running east and running west. They're just getting piled. So I'm like, well, there goes that answer. We made the right decision staying here instead of hiking across this giant canyon.
How many shots you thinking? A lot?
A lot.
Like it was a hunt.
5,
Yeah.
6?
Yeah. Like they were getting hammered.
Dang.
And there was no like big bull in it either. It was just a bunch of legal bulls. Like not even really 5 points. I think there was only one 5 point that I could tell in that group. The rest were just legal, little rags. So anyways, I told Scott, I'm like, let me see this map. Like, let me see your phone, the GOHUNT maps, and like what the track you did yesterday. So I'm starting to look, and I'm like, we're on the wrong ridge. So if this is the ridge they were on, there's a stark timber. Said we need to go clear and circle around so we can hunt this strip. Like we're on the wrong ridge. If these are the elk we're gonna hunt. So we go up to the hike down across this canyon, go up the other side, and we start hunting. And there's tracks, like fresh tracks. The snow is so nice too because when their little toes kick up the puff, like how settled are those little puffs?
Yeah.
Like how fresh is it, dude? They were as fresh gets. So I'm like, they're still here. I don't know where they are or which canyon they went into because they're, how they kind of like mingle in the dark timber and then back out into the wide open. And I'm like, we'll just, we'll keep going here. So we get up to this ridge and I told Scott, I said, we have 2 options of ridges. Pick one. Like pick which one you want to go down. So we picked the middle one and we start hiking down off it, glassing into the dark timber. So now we're at the clear top of like as high as we can get. And now we're kind of losing elevation, hunting this timbered ridge where those elk had went into the day before. And I'm turning up deer left and right. No bucks though. No bucks. This is what's crazy. It's like the very first deer I see is a mega buck, and he's rutting the absolute shit out of 11 does. Now we're seeing does everywhere, no bucks at all. And this was a common theme for not to get ahead, but for the rest of the hunt. tons of deer, no rut. The only buck I saw rutting was the mega buck. It was really odd. So anyways, we're coming down this ridge, and Scott, like, I was maybe 30 yards ahead of him, 40 yards ahead of him, because we're all just looking in from different angles and all that, like jackstraw, aspen stuff, you know. And I could see in his face immediately, like, something. His face was glowing, like absolutely glowing. And
It's like he was pregnant.
Yes, and he's coming to me. It's like,
He was glowing.
I see something in there, and it's way too yellow to be a deer. It's way too yellow.
Way too yellow to be a deer.
And I'm like, yellow's, that's a good
Yellow's
start.
good.
Like, yellow's good.
Potato chip.
And he's like, it's in this thing. We can't really see it from here, but I get this glimpse, and it's way too yellow. It's way too yellow to be timber and a deer. I'm like, okay, it's a great start. So we start going down. And then Scott picks it up again. He's like, it's right, because we moved down another 30 or 40 yards. And he gets me where it is, and I look, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a bull. Like, I can see his split coming out from the tree. He's like, I knew it.
Yes.
How far?
600 yards.
Okay. So
So
you're
jacked.
getting in kill mode now.
We're in the wide open now.
Oh, really?
And he's like, I knew it. I'm like, hold on.
Easy,
Hold on. He's right there. We're right here. Like, we're on opposing ridges. We don't want to tip him off. We're in the wide open. He's in the timber. So we kind of like, get smart and kind of play it down to this tree. And we get to 540 yards. And we can see him, and he's got one other elk with him. We can't tell what it is. That's why I say elk. And I could just see like the top of his back, but I can tell it's fur. Like, it's 100% fur. And we have this bull, and it's the 5-point from the day before. And Scott had told me, like, he would be so pumped to kill a 5-point, this 5-point.
Gotcha.
Like, if I see that bull, I'm going to be so excited to kill it. Like, that's...
So this is a bull you'd seen.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, then we're getting set up on him, and, Scott gets in the right spot, and we're all set up. Joe's got the camera set up, the whole deal. And I'm looking at him like, this could be a while, so I'm putting on all my down, because once I get cold, like, I'm done. I'm an absolute bitch when it comes to...
Especially been sweating.
Yeah.
Hiking.
And if I get cold, I'm done. Like, I can't warm myself back up. I'm a complete bitch desert rat that way. So I'm immediately like putting all my down on, and they're all getting set up. And they're, giving me shit. I'm like, dude, we could be here for a while. Like, it's dead calm. It's a beautiful day. There's low pressure cloud cover. This bull might be bedded for 3-4 hours.
It's still snowing?
Yeah, it is just starting to break right now, but still like kind of snowing. Now it's like the windy snow, because the front's blowing out, and we have the wind straight in our face, and this bull's bedded below like this little snow drift. You can tell he's completely out of the wind. So he's in the best spot ever. We're in the worst spot with wind straight in our face and still snowing. And so I'm getting all my down on, and he's getting set up. Well, then he starts saying, like, should I shoot it? Like, damn, I thought and I'm not one to...
Can he see the whole body? He can see it?
Ish. I mean, it's bedded.
Yeah.
But then he's like questioning, can we go find this bull or that bull? I'm like, dude, you told me yesterday. And I'm not one to put my...
Yeah,
when somebody else is tagged...
You're not projecting on him.
Dude, I am there.
It's your tag.
You want to hike to the top?
Sure.
I'll go to the top. Even though I don't think there's any elk there. But, like, I'll go if that's what you want to do. If you want to road hunt, I'll road hunt. I don't give a shit. This is your tag. You tell me what you want to do, and I'm in full support. So I'm like not giving my opinion on it, and he's asking it, and then finally he's like, "No, this is the bull. I'm gonna shoot it." I'm like, okay, perfect. So we are set up. We're in a good spot. We're 540 yards, and the bull's still bedded, and he's bedded in between these two aspens with these like little, in a fresh snow, like those little grass puffs will get snow on them.
Yep.
And they're sitting right at his vitals. And can see his front shoulder, the whole deal. It's like the way he was sitting in the trees, and Scott's like, I'm going to wait for him to stand up. Cool, right? I'm not putting any pressure on anyone. He could definitely make the shot bedded. And I'm getting cold. Like, this is an hour now.
I
And
have
I'm
a picture. I just texted Scott of them three sitting there. He looks like a little Eskimo all bunched up.
I'm getting cold.
It looks cold, though, in this
I'm
picture.
sweaty.
He'll send it, and we can put it on the...
So you're trying to like, hey.
I'm sweaty from the hiking. Like, we did a lot of vertical and quite a few miles, and it's impossible not to sweat, especially for me. Like,
and
I'm
snow
a
too,
heavy
for sure.
sweater.
You're
and
high
snow.
stepping.
So I'm getting cold. So I'm doing my best to keep my mouth shut. And I am, teeth are jacking each other, the whole deal. And he's going back and forth with Zach, because he's like best friends with Zach. the group is Porter, Scott, and Zach. They are like the best of best
3
friends.
amigos.
And I'm friends with them through Porter, right? So like I'm holding my tongue a little bit because I'm not like that close to those guys.
You're not besties.
I'm letting the two, brothers hash it out with each other.
Yeah.
And Scott's like, man, can I shoot Zach? I got, that's like a 30-inch gap into this and that. And they're going back and forth. And Zach's telling him like, dude, we shoot this at the range all the time. Like when the wind dies and there's no wind, because it's that breezy in and out front wind. He's like, just do it. Da, da, da. No, you should wait for him to stand up. You should do this. You do that. So finally, Scott gets on the gun. And he's like, fuck it, I'm shooting him. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, I was going to tell you an hour ago, you can make this shot all day long. Like this is what we do. Like this is what you're built for. I mean, you got vitals between the trees. I mean, if you can hit a bull in the vitals standing up, why won't you be able to hit him laying there? It's the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why I told him when he finally said he was going to shoot him, like, it's literally the exact same shot. It's whether he was standing or bedded. Mm-hmm. Like, thank God, just get this over with. I want to get out of the wind. I am frozen. So he lays down, and Joe, our new film guy, dude, he's a stud. Absolute stud. He's got the big camera set up on slow-mo, and it's cold, so you can see the vapor trail.
Oh,
and all
nice.
that shit. So he sends one, and it goes right through those two little grass with snow puffs on it. The snow just puffs out. The bull stands up, and he's just pouring blood out the front of him. It was awesome. It was so cool. The video, those kill shots are incredible. It's awesome. Because there's no shadows either. The cloud cover and everything. It's an incredible kill shot. So
he's a good shot.
He's an incredibly
Him and
good
Zach,
shot.
for new hunters, are the best shots I've seen.
Well, I mean, he's a tactician by trade.
He's done some things.
Yeah, and he
Hammers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it would make
understands-
sense that he would be a guy that could figure
and he
that
understands being a tactician.
Yeah.
He understands
moment,
process.
yeah.
That's what he's done at the highest level.
out. For sure.
So when he's going back and forth, I'm holding my tongue. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell him, like, dude, just shoot him. Like, his vitals are right there. He's got dope charts all printed out for everybody to make sure everyone's on the same page.
This is opening day.
Yeah, you can just tell he's like so ready though.
Yeah.
So I knew he could make the shot. So anyways, he shoots this thing, and then he gets up. He's like, what do I do? I'm like, get your money's worth. Keep shooting. You know what I mean?
He's not down. He's just standing.
It's a late season bull elk. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Just tough.
He's
Been
tough,
bedded all day.
nasty. Been, just
Always
like
got a pump too.
So shoots again, hits him right in the same spot, and he's still standing. I'm like, shoot him again.
It's right behind the shoulder.
Fun. Yeah, forward.
You're seeing impacts.
Oh yeah, yeah, like big ripples through the body. And I'm like, dude, just anchor him. Like shoot him high neck. Like just anchor him right there. And so the third shot, he just absolutely dropped him. Like broke his chin on the ground. He hit so hard. And anyways, went over there, took care of the bull.
Opening day.
We thought it was going to be a fairly easy pack out because it was all downhill. Turns out, downhill with no trail,
Yeah.
it's not that fun.
Through timber.
In the snow.
Through like shin deep snow.
Jack straw.
Because we were all
Try not to step on sticks.
we were all partying like when we were butchering the bull, and we're like, dude, OTC bull, all downhill pack out, like this is incredible, right? Like not up and down 3 ridges. Didn't turn out to be the case.
Where's Nate
Is it you
and
just
Omar
is
and
the
Brandon?
4 of you at
Yeah.
that point? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Where's the
Three of us.
three?
Like we don't want Joe.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
camera guy
Joe's
and 3
working.
people. Yep, for sure.
They're north in the unit.
Yeah, he's working.
They
He's
never
working
came.
packing meat.
They never came.
Okay.
They wouldn't have been able to make it.
Yeah.
To their, I know where you're going with this.
What?
To their defense, they would not have been able to make it in time, like for this bull.
No, I wasn't going there. I was just more curious.
And all 3 of us were like, dude.
Did you bone it out or just quarters?
No.
Quarters.
Because we thought it was all downhill. I
Did you
mean, in a good way.
Did you get it out in one load?
Yeah, wasn't.
Yeah.
I think we're all an inch shorter.
You didn't debone
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, that hurt.
We all. It was downhill. This is my mistake.
It's
This
like
is where
multiple miles, though.
This is where I could have added some
What did you pack?
experience.
Hind quarter?
A hind and a front.
Oh,
Yeah, debone that next time. All the time.
oh, paid
Hind-
trade.
Yeah, it was.
That would hurt.
I'm about an inch shorter from this one, and it was so slick because now through the butchering process and all that stuff, front had broke. Now sun on the snow,
That's how
No.
you earn a new knee.
steep, like steep on both sides.
Yikes.
Y'all have trekking poles? All three of you?
I have to. Yeah, we all do. But on a pack out like that, I have to. We all took some like major diggers. Major.
With the weight on and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scott kissed a rock with his teeth. How his teeth aren't chipped? I don't know. I don't know how he didn't chip his
He
teeth.
fell face forward?
Oh yeah,
No
I did too.
way.
I did multiple times too,
Did
just
we get
not
all-
in a spot like that.
Did we get
where-
all that on film? Just some massive.
Sadly, no.
That would be a sick reel, just massive wipeouts, dude.
Yeah.
There was some good ones on this
Wow.
one. So anyways, we get back to the truck and
What time you make it back to the truck?
high-fiving. Dark.
After dark?
Yeah.
It's a fun
Like
day.
after dark.
That's an awesome day.
We shot the bull at like 11, like 10:50, 11, and then we made it back to the truck at like just after dark.
Where's the celebratory meal at?
We went back home because that's where Brandon and Nate were, and they had cooked dinner, which was phenomenal.
So you rolled in, full dinner?
Rolled in, full dinner. Everyone's high-fiving, telling stories. This is
I feel like those guys could cook too. I don't know. I've never been around them, but I feel like the two of them could
Brando-
put together a
Brandon
meal.
can cook.
Brandon.
I feel like he could put together a meal.
And we get back and we're telling stories. This is the fun part about an elk camp or any hunt camp for that matter. It's like everyone, you tell your stories of the day. We saw a wolf, we saw this buck. Can't wait to get Porter shit. We
Porter's
killed
not
the
even there
bull.
yet.
Not even there.
You're not even en route yet?
No.
Nothing.
No,
This
he's at the Eagles concert
this
while
is
we're
that-
having
that
this
night.
conversation.
It was a little bit different experience.
I thought you were there for some reason.
No, I missed. I was thinking.
I'm sorry for talking so
What are you-
much,
what are you doing
but
on
Porter
podcasts,
wasn't
man?
there.
I told you in the break room. I was like, I only was there for like the last 2 days.
Oh, I didn't know you were like. I didn't know he killed opening day. I thought like Porter showed up,
Yeah.
and put the whole hunt
Listen,
together. The hunt went
in
down.
my head, I'm like, this is gonna be perfect. They're gonna go figure out how to hunt the area.
Right. Then
When
you'll
do
show
you
up.
get there, yeah.
When do you see them? When do you go like this hard, this fast in an OTC hunt?
And we're not even into it yet.
Hmm.
And
So-
like I'm show up Monday and I'm thinking it's perfect. I'm gonna be there for all the action.
Yeah. Which isn't
I
it's
misclicked.
not a bad thought. So that night we're talking, saw a wolf, saw this, and Scott kept saying like, "Man, I can't thank you enough for being there." I'm like, "Dude, I literally did nothing. Like you can thank me for the pack out."
Yeah, I
But like
just
that
showed
was
up,
all
yeah.
you scouted that bull.
You scouted, you did all the work.
knew exactly where we were going. Like you
Shot the weapon.
and he kept wanting to like, pass off. I'm like, dude, you did this. Like
Yeah.
you are clearly capable because he keeps thinking he's such a new hunter. I'm like, dude, Scott, you are. This is so far beyond a new hunter. You scouted this thing, made all the right decisions to like figure it out. Didn't give up on it when we didn't see him. He was there somewhere. Tracked him into the timber. Like I literally
Did everything
nothing.
an experienced hunter should do.
I don't even know why I'm here, other than the pack out, which you can definitely thank me for because that was a hind in the front.
Yeah, that's
You
a
know,
lot.
That part, yeah. But man, he liked everything, had the whole thing dialed. Well, that day, Nate and Brandon went to where they had scouted and saw I think they said it was a 6-point or maybe like a barely 6-point, an OTC 6-point trophy.
Yeah.
And they didn't see shit. All they saw was people. So like we literally could not have had two more different. I think they saw
Experiences.
3 elk the entire day. We saw like 200 elk and killed one.
Wow.
So it was awesome. So
And
then
you know what's crazy? Just real quick, but Colin, it makes me think of because you said you saw a wolf, but doesn't it pisses me off to think that you have a resource like an elk herd in Colorado that can support over-the-counter archery hunting, over-the-counter second and third rifle season hunting, and we're gonna put it on a ballot and vote to bring in wolves to just
knock them down
knock the shit out of them. Just
when
sucks.
wolves are already there. Colorado
Yeah.
hunters, there's a lot of people saying the wolves are already there.
yeah.
Colorado hunters are saying that.
Yeah. No, and
I
there's,
mean,
I think
I
there's,
just
there's
saw-
biologists I think that are saying as well. It just, I don't know. It's just like bums me out.
Yeah.
does.
You know?
I'm bummed at.
But
It's
anyway,
something working, but we're gonna break
something working.
Yeah.
You know, you're giving people opportunity to go hunting, which is great. I don't hate wolves or anything, but
No, but when
Man,
you when you put them in there under false pretense,
yeah,
that's a problem.
that's what stinks. But anyway, I just
So-
put some wind in yourself. Here's a great hunt. I just bring it up that we got wolves. Anyway,
So the next day turns into we'll go look for you guys. Now they were going to go to their second spot they had scouted. And I said, I'll go look at a new spot that everyone always gives me shit for who's my best friend. But he had told me about a spot that I needed to go check for those guys. So I went to that spot. And we were glassing from like down on the county road. And there is elk absolutely everywhere. I don't know if I've ever seen this many elk.
really,
Everywhere. The mountain there's like a plateaued mountain on the left.
and it's crawling.
And it went down into a huge valley, like massive valley. They are not two connected mountains. They're very disconnected. This like plateaued one, like more of a flat top mountain, big valley, and then this like big, like dome looking, like with a point to it, Two very different mountains. Both of them are just like The left one is crawling from right to left with elk, and the one on the right is crawling from left to right with elk. There is elk absolutely everywhere. Public land, all of them.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Hundreds. Like I don't want to overstate, so let's just say 300, so I know I'm safe to say like how many elk there were.
Bulls, cows.
So, and they're all on public, like definitely private, logistically to like figure out how to get on these elk. So then we pulled out all the big glass and we're like, okay, we got to find a bull that's like worth it in there if we're going to go deal with getting in there, because it's going to be a hell of a drive, a hell of a hike, and gnarly. But like that's OTC elk hunt, so who cares? Let's just make sure. Dude, we had the big glass on both these herds, and there was one legal, like for sure we could say legal.
Everything else just cows and calves.
Everything else, cows and calves. And a lot of spikes, tons of spikes. Like, I mean,
all over.
Piles, and which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
That many young bulls.
I mean, that means there's probably a pile of bulls somewhere else.
Correct.
Hanging out.
So, we were pretty disheartened by that. Like, man, we found all these elk for these guys, and we're in communication through inReaches, and they were having a hard go at it, and we had seen all this elk, so they were excited. Should we come? Should we do this? And we're like, dude, there's one bull we can for sure say is legal. There might be 4 or 5, but only one we can say for sure. And they ended up being a pretty good ways away. So by the time they fed into the timber, anyways, it wasn't going to work out anyways. So what's the best thing to do? Get breakfast.
Biscuits and gravy.
Dude, so we ran into
Some hot coffee.
Some eggs on the side.
So we ran into town and that's one of my favorite things, is getting like a solid breakfast on a cold
For
day like that.
Especially when you got out in the morning and went hunting.
Yeah.
My uncle from Indiana tells a story one time. I think I've told it before, but he had an cow elk tag and came out to Utah. And they went up one morning and they glassed up a herd of elk. And they were out there a little ways. And my uncle goes, "Do you smell that?" He says to his buddy. And his buddy goes, "What is that?" And he goes, "I think it's biscuits and gravy down in town." He said they pulled back into town, walked in there, sat down at this little greasy spoon place, sat down, ordered, and everybody else kind of sitting around, and they were like, "What are you doing, hunting elk?" They're seeing any? "Yeah, we saw, maybe a couple hundred this morning." And he said the place just emptied. He said everybody else stood up and took off.
And they're ordered.
Yeah, they were all like, "Oh shit, there's elk. We're going elk hunting." And
I wish I was as smooth as him to say it that way, because I was not that smooth. I'm just like, dude, we should go get breakfast.
But that's a great thing, man. When you're hunting, cold weather, late season.
Dude, it was 4
Good hot
degrees.
breakfast.
It was 4 degrees.
Oh, that's
standing
cold.
on an icy road, glassing, and we're putting in the time behind the glass to find a bull. That takes a long time to sift through that many elk.
Yep.
So multiple hours. I'm like, dude, breakfast. Like on my toes, I am so cold.
For
like,
sure.
let's go do our thing while they're still trying to figure out what they're gonna do.
Yeah, you guys are killed already.
Yeah. So we go to breakfast. I get some intel at breakfast about a valley to the south of us that's holding a shitload of elk and a lot of like 5 point plus elk. I'm like, not that far away. We might really want to think this one through. So we text Brandon and Nate, and Omar's with them. Omar's on the inReach. We're like, hey, meet us at the house.
Omar's in bed still somewhere.
Well, this is when he fell asleep in the side by side. Nate tells Nate. I wish Nate was here because he would tell the story. Nate goes, "I swear to God, I thought he was going to break the window of the side by side because the road was so rough." He said his head smashed that window 4 or 5 times. He never woke up.
He's sleeping through it.
Sleeping through the whole thing.
What's young Omar doing?
I don't know, but the kid can sleep with the bed, like a 10 to 12-year-old.
It's getting more.
Did he get footage? We have to do a whole.
We have tons of footage.
I would footage of Omar sleeping this
We
season.
have footage of you sleeping too.
What do you mean? I
Got
didn't sleep.
good footage of you sleeping too.
I didn't sleep.
Omar just works hard all the time. That's why he's sleeping. He's up all night working.
Exactly.
I'm
That must be
throwing
what
him
it is.
a soft bone right now because he's listening to it.
No,
Meanwhile,
we
he's
sit
the
there
first one in
Instagram.
bed every night too. We're all having a good time talking shit all night long. He's in bed.
Okay.
So you can't have that pass.
All right.
Different generation.
So anyways, Omar's texting us like, hey, we're still having a hard time. You guys want to meet at the house? Yeah, let's meet at the house. So we go back to the house. I'm like, hey, it's only an hour and 20 minutes away, 10 minutes away. And I've got some like good intel. And all right, cool. Let's go. Like we decide, let's pack it in. We're going to full send down into this next valley. We pull up, start glassing and just turning up elk in front of us, behind us, to the left of us, to the right of us. Big herds too, massive herds.
Isn't this the exact opposite of everything you always hear about OTC elk hunting?
This is what I'm saying.
It's so
This is
crazy.
day- this is
I
day
talk to
2.
people all the time. They're like, man, it's just so hard. There's no elk. It's constant
It's wild.
crowding.
I've never.
This is night of day 2.
Yeah.
And the hike into where these elk are is no joke. Like, no joke. But we have 2 vehicles right now. We have mine and Brandon's with his guys. So we come up with a plan. There's like 3 hours of hunting, 4 hours of hunting left by the time we make it there. And come up with a plan that Brandon's going to take his as high as you can get and park it there, and they're going to get out and start hiking. And I'm going to be down in the bottoms, like hiking up to Glassing Knobs, east, west, and trying to get a look at this face of this mountain where these elk are to try to see what's going on and seeing where they need to be. So they get out of the truck and start hiking. We are looking at different elk. I'm on the inReach, like, hey, I think we found them, and they're on the west side. And they're like, no, we're on elk right now. I'm like, okay. So we don't know where they are because we can't see them yet. Like, they haven't broke onto our side of the mountain yet. And we're glassing. So now me, Scott, and Zach, it's me, Scott, Zach, and Joe. Like, that was our team the whole time. So we're just sitting there, like, we made a fire, glassing, having a good old time. We don't know what's going on over there. They're hunting. We knew they were on elk. Well, we turn up like a good bull, a 6-point bull, good bull. And immediately hit on the inReach, like, hey, man, I don't know what you guys are looking at, but we have a good 6-point. Turns out, Brandon was on the gun. At the moment we had sent that inReach
On that
text.
bull?
No.
Different bull.
The group of elk that they had seen. And like I said, we don't know where they are or what they're doing because comms are like pretty hard there. Like, it's only inReach and like it's pretty tough. Turns out Nate tells us, like, he's on the gun getting built in
the inReach beach
to shoot this 5-point bull. And the inReach went off, and Omar tells the story good too because Brandon can't hear real well right now. So
Yeah, why isn't Omar on here? Why am I on?
So
I thought you were a bigger part of this whole story. My
that's why I
apologies.
feel bad for talking so much, but there's a lot that happened before Porter got there.
We'll get to a point where
Porter's
Porter
got a-
shows
I
up.
arrived the next day.
Porter's got the best part of the film. We'll just put it that way. Even better than the kill shot that I was just
Look at
talking
Porter's
about.
reaction already. I can't
So
Does he know it?
Trying to
We'll
see
get
if
there.
there's more,
So-
how much more misinformation's coming?
I got a lot of people to sign on what I'm saying.
Okay.
So, anyways, he's like on the gun, like getting ready to shoot. And the way Brandon and Nate had it figured out was Brandon's up first, Nate's up second on the gun because Brandon had like done all the work, right? So anything Brandon passed, Nate could shoot. This is kind of how they were going off. Well, he can't hear, so they're telling him like, hey, they have a 6-point, and Brandon really wanted to shoot a 6-point.
He literally can't hear, by the way.
Can't hear. And they're like, hey, he's got a
hearing is-
6-point.
Really?
And Brandon's like, oh, can I get a yardage? And they're like, no, there's a 6-point. Hey, can I get a yardage? No, there's a 6. So they end up like having to throw snow at him to get his attention, like off the gun. So Nate jumps on the gun and shoots that bull. And
Oh wow!
absolutely
Just a
smokes it.
swapperoo.
Some good footage. Just he's in a herd of like 150 elk, and
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Nate tracks this bull,
So he smacks that bull.
smacks that bull, drops it, gets off the gun, and runs over to like where we were saying on the west side. There's only so much time left in night now. Like they're not going to make it in time. So anyways, we pull off the Glassing Knob, hike way off down this Glassing Knob, get back in the truck, and we drive to now where radio contact can work. So now we're like in real time contact. Hey, this and that, we're here, we're there. Dude, they were 4.5 miles from the truck. I'm like, what elk did you guys see? How did this work? Well, there's a whole pile of 300 over here. Like we're looking at 2 different herds
Wow.
of 300 elk.
Jesus.
Like they're clear over there. So they ended up going like 4+ miles from the truck down on this flat bench and killing that 5-point. And we're looking at a whole nother herd on this other side. It's like, it was insane how many elk there were. So we have 2 bulls down in 2
It
days.
makes it fun.
It does make it
Man,
fun.
that's
Do you think
fun.
it was all that snow pushing all the
Yes.
elk down?
Yeah.
The
100%.
perfect storm?
Congregating them.
Yeah, there was so much snow.
Yeah,
They
had to
had
come.
to be down low. They had to.
Yeah. Pushing them together.
So now this is so that's 2 days, 2 bulls down.
Porter's still
I
not
told
there, yeah.
we all came to the decision.
They're
hey,
barely texting me anything.
We've been
I
on.
planned this whole thing.
At what point are you like, I don't even know if I should make the trip? Maybe I just hang tight.
Keep going. It happens here
We
shortly.
all said Porter's not showing up. All of us said there's no way he's showing up because now there's 2 bulls down.
Sure,
and
yeah.
he's supposed to be coming in the next day. Well, we decided that night, like, hey, take care of that bull, but don't pack it off because we have this 6 point. We're coming back to this same mountain tomorrow, and we'll take care of that bull tomorrow. It's 4 degrees at night, and we'll make sure we're not like, because we still have an hour and a half drive back. Like, let's be ready for this 6 point in the morning. And that's the day that Porter's supposed to be coming in. And contrary to Porter's thoughts, there's not a lot of service, and we're out like
You're
all
hunting.
day.
Yeah.
Especially now, like now we got to pack a bull off, and we got to find the 6 point, like the whole deal. So now Porter can finally start talking, and I can stop about your travel days.
Well,
Did you found out that they'd already killed 2 bulls then?
Yes.
I'm having to say, like, hey guys, how are you doing? Like,
Did you find out by Instagram that they killed?
virtually. So I put together a group text of like, Zach, you're going to pick up like all the logistics going into it. Here's the hotel, or here's the VRBO address. Here's the code. Here's everybody's numbers. Like, I start a group thread, right? The group thread's popping Thursday, Friday.
Through scouting.
There's videos of herds of elk, action. I'm like living through it. I'm like, this is great, right? Then dead silence. Saturday. Hey, how was it? Oh, rumor is Scott killed a bull. Cool. Awesome. Like his first elk. Like, anyone want to share anything else? Silence. Next day. Hey guys, you guys doing okay? Yeah, rumor is Nate killed a bull. Cool. Like anything else? Like, and then Scott texted me that night. They get back to the thing. So you still coming? Well, I was planning on it. Should I not? I have a flight at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Like, do you guys want to share anything? Should I not come? Are you leaving? Silence. It's like, what? What is happening? So he's like, no, you could come if you want. I'm like, cool. I'm like, am I getting disinvited to my own like thing? Like, I'm like, what is happening?
What he was feeling was we all after the first day of hunting, because all of us went hard. Brandon and Nate had a hard day just because they couldn't see any elk. We had a long, hard day just because killing one and getting it off the mountain. We all decided, all of us put in 12 plus hour drives. All of us put in, so we're going to make Porter sweat a little bit. Like, he thinks he's just going to fly in on a 2-hour flight, show up to
It was
camp.
calculated. You guys were purposely just...
We had a little powwow
you were ghosting him a
in the
little bit.
living room of like, hey, this is where kind of like the rubber meets the road. Like, we're the workers. He can't show up.
Left on red, Porter.
Yeah. We told him that there was bulls down. We just purposefully held back some pictures
details.
and some details. You had to feel something.
And I expected this from Brandon and Lorenzo, and I had no problem from them two. But how about Nate or Scott or Zach, who I've done so much for and like helped put this thing together? Scott kills his first bull, and he's not even like texting me. I'm supposed to be one of his best friends. It's like, okay, cool guys, like, but I'm supposed to get on a plane at 5 a.m.
So funny.
And this, by the way, my birthday.
Oh, man.
Like, it's Sunday where
Anyone
they
wish you happy
Oh,
birthday?
man.
They
I
did-
wished I was the first
Lorenzo
one.
started with a happy birthday.
Okay.
But I'm like, so I finally talked to Scott that night, and I freaking ripped him a new ass. I'm like, dude, I'm supposed to get on a plane in like 8 hours. What the? I'm like pissed. I'm like, what the? So he's like, no, you can still come if you want. I'm like, what is
You
happening?
can still come if you want.
So I'm like, you know
worst
what?
thing to be told.
I'm like, I'm going to, if I don't go, I'll probably regret it. Everything, most people would not have come.
We were
At all.
also testing Porter's conviction.
Right.
Like, is Porter actually going to show up? You know,
So I'm like, you know what? Like, I share a wall with him. I see him all the time, right? I don't get to see Nate that much, but I'll see him in the winter a bunch. I see Brandon every other week. I see the rest of those guys. I see Zach all the time. Scott has moved to Dallas. He left us.
Sure.
I haven't seen him since he moved in July, abruptly, when he just like gave me a
Just
text, said, hey, I'm moving to Dallas.
Up and
Cool.
gone.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go see Scott. So I'm going to just do this. And so I'm shocked that they got 2 bulls down. Like, I've never heard of such. And you know,
and
right?
we're
Like,
on a third. Like, this is
Yeah,
2
yeah,
days,
you-
2 bulls down, and
Yeah,
we're on a
reality
third
is
the next day.
another.
different hunt situations, you'd have killed 3 bulls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'd have
Yes.
had it over and done.
which
Yes.
is, how, like, have you ever heard of such a thing? Like,
I mean, not
it's
typical.
pretty crazy. And it's,
Yeah.
like, it's
It
was
awesome for
wild.
them. Like, they hunted
Yeah.
hard, they deserve it, like, scouted. Like, it's all good. I'm not hating.
Got
But it's
after it.
like, when you look at the data, I was thinking they'd be lucky to have one one down, right? They have 3 tags to punch, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have plenty of action. Then at that point, yeah, they're on another elk, which I think I like randomly picked up. They didn't provide any kind of detail, but I'm thinking by the time I get there, because I land at noon on Monday, they'll probably have the 3rd bull down. But I was like, you know what?
So our thought was, either way, like Porter, either way, we're an hour and a half away, and probably even more than that, like 2 hours away. And we have to, even if we don't kill this 3rd bull, we still have to pack one out. So we're out until like dark.
Yeah.
We're not getting back to VRBO on Monday until like dark. So, I mean, yeah, you're coming, but we're gone no matter what.
I was
like,
secretly hoping that you'd shot a 3rd and he just showed up to
up
pack. You're like, meet us at this gas station. Here's a pack for him.
So I told
that would have
Scott,
been awesome.
I'll be there. I'll be there. So he leaves his keys. I'm supposed to land at noon. I go through Denver, and then it's to like a small, little, tiny airport, right? And I get to the airport. I leave my house at 5:30 in the morning, and I get to the airport. I get on the plane. We're like on the runway, and one of the engines isn't firing up.
Oh gosh.
Not good.
So it's like, oh, we're gonna deplane and da da da. Well, I have an hour between my connection in Denver. I look it up, there's 2 flights that go into this small little airport per day. I'm going to miss the first one. The next one's 7:20 at night.
You're like, if I miss that one, then what?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Everything's pointing to I should just get back in my car and like go to the office. It's Monday. Should just cancel. I don't know why, but I was like, nope, not doing it. I think I was like being stubborn because like
He was proving a point.
I
He
knew
could
they
feel-
thought I wasn't going to come. I'm
He
like,
could feel what we were.
They were testing you.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
We knew he was
So-
proving a point at this.
I like it.
Like when we got this news and he was still coming, we're like, oh, Porter's proving a point.
I'm coming. So whatever. Today's gonna suck. And so I just hunker in. I start downloading audiobooks, and I'm just like hunkering in for like feeling like I'm going to Europe. Like the travel day is like I like am going to Europe, right?
Yeah.
So I kick it in the Vegas airport for a while. Finally get to Denver. Land in Denver at 12. My next flight's at 7. I'm like, I gotta get outside. So I start getting into a audiobook, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some steps in. I like go outside. It's actually a really nice day. It's cold but nice. So I go and I'm walking the entire Denver airport, just walking.
Did you see Lucifer?
Who?
You don't know the
blue
underground
horse?
stories.
No,
The blue horse?
Oh yeah. No, I did not see any of that. So I just start circling for like hours and hours and hours, and then I took a break. I got some vitamin D, and then I go back in at like 4:00, get a bite to eat. I'm not gonna miss this flight. So he goes, "What time do you land, Scott?" Like midday when they have service. I go, "I land at 8. If you guys could get me, that would be great." It's his birthday there on the 11th, so I'm like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to mess with him. He's like, "Well, yeah, like I'm not sure. Like Lorenzo, I think wants to hang out with Clay, so like, just take Uber." I'm like, okay. So feeling super welcome.
I
right?
didn't. No, it wasn't. It was not that. It was not that I wanted to
take
just
an Uber.
hang out. It was not that.
What Scott didn't want to tell you what to do on your birthday, and Scott was being passive. This is my interpretation.
No. This was entirely the hunt itself. This is the hunt.
No. But
You have your story of Monday. I have my story of Monday.
no, I'm talking about as the day progressed.
Yeah.
You guys didn't kill Monday.
So Monday, so that bull, they take care of it for overnight. We show up the next morning to go find the 6 point. And that night we're looking at maps because the hike to get to this side of the mountain is no joke. Like, hey, this is gonna be. You guys got to leave the house at 3. Long drive, long hike. We got to be on the glassing knob as sun comes up. Like the whole deal. So it's a long day for us. Because
Sure.
we're trying to kill this bull that Brandon wants to kill. We showed him video of it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm all about it. Let's
Yeah.
like full send on this bull." Cool. So full send. So we leave the house that morning at like 3:45 to make the drive, make the hike, the whole deal. And they're hiking in, coming around. We find the herd, our herd. We do not find the 6 point. So it's kind of like he's the missing one. As they're coming over the mountain to the south, underneath them to the east, like a couple hundred yards in the trees, and headed to the north is another group of 300 elk. And there's legal bulls in it, like a lot of legal bulls in it. But we're looking for the 6 point. So Brandon, Nate, Omar, and Joe was with him on this too because they wanted double cameras on this one. Dude, they put in a massive hike in the dark to get to where they needed to be as the sun came up for the last place we saw the 6 point. Like big time hike. Don't find them. So we send them back to, this is why I love Brandon. Brandon's like all about holding out for a 6 point. But the second the 6 point wasn't there and we said we just watched a group of 300 with a dozen illegal bulls
right,
go
on.
the other way. He's like, yep, where are they? Like immediately, he's in kill mode, right? He's the only tag left. He's in immediate kill mode. Yep, where are they? Like, you're going to hate this. Now radios will work because we're both we're on two sides of a valley. Mm-hmm. So we're talking real time communication. I'm like, the best thing you could do, no, you don't want to hear this. Hike to the top. Go to the very top. And just roll the top. And you're going to find those elk. And that's what they did. And they rolled they went clear back up to the top and rolled it. And then there was a bunch of hunters down on the bottom. Mm-hmm. I think there's from what we saw, there is no way they wouldn't have found those elk. Mm-hmm. There's no way. But they didn't see any elk. So they must have got bumped because they were like barely low.
Mm-hmm. Was that late morning?
This is like 11 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning.
So they were out on that all day?
All day long. Yeah. And so they go off. And I on that radio when we had them, I said, hey, you guys go hunt those elk. Me, Scott, and Zach, we'll go take care of Nate's bull. Just send us the pin. And then we'll go do it right now. So when you get to the top, send us a pin. And we'll go get service, get the pin, and we'll go take care of the bull for you so you guys can stay up there all day. So that was the plan, is they were going to go back after that. They ended up not seeing him. We went down, butchered Nate's bull, packed him off the mountain. By this time, it was like 3, and we hear the radio go off. I'm like, oh, that's weird. They must be like down low again. And they're like, yeah, we're in the truck. I'm like, what? Why are you guys in there? You guys were at the top. Why did you guys hike off? There's 300 elk up there. No, they're not there. There's hunters all around the bottom. This and that didn't happen. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And Nate is like, Brandon is like pretty beat up at this point. He's I think they did 11. I think they did like almost double digit miles and like 3,000+ feet of vertical. Yeah. And this is day 3 of doing that.
Day in and day out.
And he was pretty like beat down. Just because he wanted to kill a 6 point, couldn't find it, and then he was going to want to kill the 5 point and couldn't find it. So now he's like pretty beat down. Mm-hmm. We had taken care of Nate's bull, super appreciative of that, and we're trying to keep the vibes high. We're like, dude, we took care of the bull. You guys stay hunting. And they're like, no, we're done. Like, we want food, we want water. We're in the truck. I'm like, all right, well, I guess meet me in town, the closest town. So we met in town.
Then you bring in the hype, man.
And this is where we finally get service. This right now is where we finally get like service. Mm-hmm. We find out he's been delayed. He's not getting in till 8. We're still hours and hours away. There's still elk. Like, Nate or Brandon, what do you want to do? Do you want to hunt tonight? Yeah, I want to hunt, but I only want to road hunt.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's going to be difficult. Elk hunting, road hunting, right? He's like,
high pressure.
I'm not hiking again. Like, I'm not doing that.
It's a long day.
Needs a day off.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm like,
Evening.
well, got some intel. Like, this is where people have been killing them off some roads the last couple of days. And we can go have like a nice cruising birthday night and go try to kill you a bull off the road. So he thinks we're staying out for that. We're staying out to hunt. Like, there's still elk everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
So we stayed out hunting. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, it gets dark at like 5 though. I land at 8.
And we're a long ways away.
You're less than 3 hours away.
We're less than 3 hours away, yeah. That's true.
So did you Uber in?
Yeah, so I land. I'm like,
we saw a big deer that night too, rutting.
Oh,
There you go.
Completely different unit, totally different sets of unit. Has nothing to do with me and hunting, but we did see another like 180+ buck rutting that night, which was cool.
so he,
put that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
so Scott's like, hey, I think we want to do like a birthday dinner for Lorenzo. We had a long day. I was like, yeah, it's all good. And he's like, is it cool if you just take an Uber? I'm like, sure, happy to take an Uber. This is a small little town. I should have thought about this, but I was like, I checked if there was like Uber in the area, and there was, but it's hard to test is that are there going to be people like taking like people, are there going to be people working? So I land at 8:10, and they're like an hour and a half away, celebrating Lorenzo's birthday, which is fine. I don't want to ruin Lorenzo's birthday at all.
Hunting, not celebrating.
Fake news. Fucking fake news. Excuse my language. Fake news.
We were doing a little bit of celebrating.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. This is way after the evening hunt. And he's like, oh, man, we're like an hour and a half away. I'm like, it's all good. I was like, hey, so I check Uber, and I'm like, it's fishing, trying to find somebody for like 20, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And then it says, sorry, there's nothing available. I was like, this is the way my day's going. So I look at MapQuest, and it's like 4.2 miles. It's like 20 degrees outside.
It's 15. It's 15 degrees
15
outside.
degrees,
Did you
whatever.
walk it?
It's
15 degrees.
I felt like I've been in jail. I've been in this airport all day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I just start booking it. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to walk. I'll be on your right off the highway. And he's like in and out of service. And so I just start hoofing it. And then like an hour late, he's like, haha, no, for real. Like, are you still at the airport? I'm like, I'm fucking walking. He's like, dude, don't be an idiot. I'm like,
Dang.
I'm not trying to be an idiot. I'm walking though. Can you just get me, if it's convenient for you, on your way to the VRBO, would you mind pulling over? Because I will be standing there walking, just like, you can't miss me. And he's like, thought I was joking. And I'm not joking.
Turns out he was not joking.
He walked.
Dude, I walked 3.7 miles.
No way.
And then they pull over and pick me up.
This is so great.
They're like, what's up?
How pissed were you?
I wasn't that pissed because it was his birthday, and I'm like, I was mad at Scott because I think Scott could have been like, hey, dude, like, Porter's going to a lot of trouble to like get here. He has no tag. I'm literally there to help people, but it's his birthday, so I'm like trying to not like,
Yeah.
He's helping there. He doesn't have a tag either. He's there helping people. It's his birthday, so I'm like, whatever, it's fine. And actually, I needed some fresh air. Like, I wasn't actually that mad. Where I started
I genuinely was just doing what Brandon wanted. He was the only one with the tag left.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not going to put any of my pressure on there. Brandon, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
What's crazy though is you could have drove and been there quicker.
Yeah,
Because
well,
Trail and I have been talking about
2020.
all like the troubles we've had at airports lately. Like
Just
you
drive.
stuck everywhere. It's so
Just drive.
It's so insane. You can't travel. You can't plan anything. Like you
Just
had to
drive.
plan. It would have worked. Then you get detained, and then you have to walk. And
The way home couldn't have been more opposite. I got dropped off at the airport.
We'll get into that too. Well,
whatever.
That's
The
why
way
we were
home is the polar
purposely
opposite of
withholding
so crazy.
information.
Everything
All
was
of us have 12-hour drives home. He's going to hop on a plane, be home in 2.5 hours.
So I get to where I did
bougie.
start to
the
get a
hiking
little,
thing is still
where I-
just blowing my mind.
Where I started
I
to
can
get a
totally
little
see it
annoyed.
though.
What?
You being like, that's it. I'm walking.
The vibe in my car
I'm
too.
going.
The
I'm
vibe
walking.
in my car too is I'm extremely close with Porter, obviously, and his two best friends are in my car, right? Mm-hmm. So our vibe on the way back, we have no camera guys, no nothing, so it's just us like truly talking shit.
Sure.
We're like, fucking Porter, dude, he's proving a point. Like he's walking to prove a point to all of us. Like he's such an asshole, Like we're all talking shit. Well, turns out couldn't have been a better thing that Porter actually showed up because one, you guys know him when he's trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
He's like on a mission, He's got the high energy, high vibes, and vibes were not high in our hunt camp, and we had one tag left.
Yeah.
And I completely like unselfish or anything from all of us, but it's like, hey, we could be home early, which families would appreciate. I got a playoff baseball game with Turtle, whatever. Like, not that that's the deciding factor, but man, if we get one killed, coming home early is always a good thing, right? Especially when you go 100%. And so we're like, man,
Hold on, before you to set the stage of the vibes. So they picked me up.
I'm
and
setting the
his-
stage of the vibe in my car.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We're talking.
I
Like,
thought you were back at the
We
VFW.
got to get Brandon's vibe up.
gotcha.
I know he's like full send to the top on 3 straight days, knee deep snow, cold as hell. Like I get it. I feel for him, But I don't know, I don't know what to say to Brandon or anything. And we're talking shit about Porter, like
What did
trying to
Porter
prove a-
do, by the way, to be clear?
trying to prove a
accept-
point.
Showed up and hiked.
Trying to prove a point. He's proving a point to all of us. He could have waited.
Showed up when he probably shouldn't have.
He could have waited in the airport for an hour.
And a half.
And we would have picked him up. Right.
You picked me up at 9:40 p.m. off the highway.
Well, once we heard you were walking, we're like, all right.
Nobody stopped to pick you up.
Yeah. So
They picked me up. I was at the
No,
VRBO.
did you try thumbing it at all?
Yeah. No.
So the vibe in my vehicle was not like
Not pumped.
super pumped, right? Because we're like, what are we getting into with Porter? Also, how do we get the vibes up in camp so we can kill tomorrow? Because we didn't see the 6 point and didn't kill the 5 point. So like that's never fun, right? Especially on the OTC because it's like, oh, that bull's gone. Somebody, like something happened. Those elk are all gone. So now we're starting from scratch a little bit. And so the vibes are like kind of down. Cut to us picking Porter up to up on the side of the road.
Well, I jump in. All I know is you said, why the hell did you walk? I'm like, I needed some fresh air. But we pull into the VRBO.
We warned you that the vibes were low.
Yeah, maybe it didn't register. It was such a long day. That was one of the longest days ever. I get out and walk in. Brandon walks straight past me and doesn't even say hello. Nate walks past me, doesn't say hello. I'm like, are you guys punking me? Like, what is happening? Like, I just came here to help you guys kill an elk. Like, what is happening?
I wish I could experience it.
Omar
Me too.
says hello. I'm like, okay, so it's not like a full punk. Joe says hello. Nate and Brandon still don't. It took like 10 minutes for Nate to be like, hey, bud, what's up? How are you? And I'm like,
He's not
that
lying
great.
about this.
I have to go search Brandon out. I'm like, yo, bud. He's like, hey, bud. Like he's the most worn out I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, so then they're just sitting there, and I'm just like, what is happening? I'm like, hey guys, just long day. They were worn out, genuinely like very worn out. And then we start getting into the planning for the next day. Mm-hmm. These guys are talking about sleeping in. I just flew here. I'm like, what is? Are we just hanging out?
Hold on. Talk. Let's talk through that. The hunter, the only tag left, was talking about that.
True.
No one else.
It's time for you to motivate the team.
True. Well,
Did you give him a classic Porter? Let's effing go speech, Porter. Porter, you got it.
Porter
I know you
doesn't
do.
want
I've
to pump
heard it.
himself up. He won't pump himself up right now because he's completely different on the podcast than he is in real life.
No,
So we can all agree he's different. on the
That's
podcast.
not true.
Should we have him reenact?
He's
Give us
pretty
a
good
pumped
right
up
now.
speech?
He is pretty good
This is
today,
a good
but for the most part, he's not the same person. So
More fake news.
Brandon's
This whole
Brandon,
pod is fake news.
They're talking about him, Nate and him talking about sleeping in, and I'm not a fire with fire guy, so I'm like, dude, that sounds great. Like I could definitely go for that, a little birthday sleep in, whatever. But also we could, do X, Y, Z. Like if you don't want to hike, I know this
Some
spot.
spots.
I know this spot. We can go road hunt this spot. It's closer than what we've been driving. And, it's been producing these last couple days through sources. And I'm like, we could do that. This is when Porter goes in full effect. Come on, let's go.
Porter, you do give a good motivational speech.
So he went in full motivational.
Did he go full send?
Full motivational Porter.
Did it work?
What did I say? Honestly, that was such a long day. I don't even remember. And I was so mad at you guys that I was
Blacked out. So I'm not a good storyteller. I'm not high energy like Porter. So I'm going to tell this very boringly for what exactly happened. But, Brandon's like, okay, fine. We'll do that. But I don't want to drive tomorrow. I want to sleep for that hour drive in the back. Like I am worn out. Porter's like, I'll fucking drive that truck. I'll fucking drive it side by side too. I'll lift that thing up to the top of the mountain. Where do you want to go? Where are we going tomorrow?
You can sleep in the back.
Yeah, you can sleep in the back. And I'm like,
And I heard his head was like,
and he's like, think again, and finally says yes. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, Porter, here's where we're going. Here's what we're gonna do. I had Zach grab my Can-Am from Penguich on the way up. I'm like, so I have my Can-Am and I have my hunting truck. So I'm like, okay, 2 vehicles tomorrow. Porter's like, I'll fucking whip this thing to the top of the mountain. Where are we going tomorrow? Where are we going? I'll drive this thing. You guys have never seen a side-by-side driver like me. I'll get this thing anywhere. How deep's the snow? 4 feet? I don't give a shit. I'll get this thing clear to the top. And he's like, to his credit though.
Good motivation.
Yeah.
To his credit though, he brought up the vibes and everyone was like, cool, that's the plan. We're going to road hunt tomorrow, but we're going to get into my thought was we're going to glass some elk and we're gonna hike. Because once
once you find him,
once
then
the
you
gunner sees
once you
him,
see him, then
It's
then
hard
you
to
go,
like-
it's hard to agree
Yeah.
to a 7 mile, 3,000 foot day.
once you see
without
one,
knowing,
though, it's all go.
without knowing there's elk.
For
but
sure.
when you see the elk,
Yep.
full
Nope,
send.
full
and so
send.
that was my thing. Is like, dude, I know we're gonna get out there and we're gonna glass them up on the top because that's where they have been. I was kind of, my source is kind of, they're at the top. I just kind of embellished the road hunting part
Yeah,
of it a
you're
little
like-
bit. You can glass them
You
from
can
the
see
road.
him from the road.
So that's where I was
That's all
going
you
with
need.
this whole thing.
That's
All
road
you need.
hunting.
So next morning, we all wake up. We're like, we get to sleep in an extra hour and a half from these hikes we've been doing because now we're just hunting from like the turnoff. That's where we're hunting.
They've been killing themselves. I mean, they've been literally leaving the
It's-
VRBO at 3:30 in the morning.
It's
Yeah,
been
that
like
is a
5
lot.
mile days and 3,000 vertical. And
Yeah, you get back late, you eat, go to
exactly.
bed. Like
And
you're
like
going
shin
on
to knee
like
deep
5-6
snow.
hours of sleep and hiking your ass off.
That's
It's hard.
what we've been doing. So
Yeah.
I don't blame
Sure.
anyone for it. Sometimes you do kind of need
Yep.
that day, especially when you. Now we're like ground zero because the 6 point's gone. These elk have been messed with other people, so we are kind of starting from zero. New spot, don't know anything about it, and the last thing you want to do, like I said, is sign up for a 7 mile or 3,000 feet of vertical and nothing. So Porter, we wake up the next morning. All of us got an extra hour and a half sleep, and Porter's just got the vibes, man. He's like, where are we going? I'm gonna whip this thing. Send me the waypoint. Send me this. Send me that. I'm like, okay, and I'm driving my grocery getter. Like nothing special. It's just a straight grocery getter.
It is pretty dirty right now too. I saw it.
It's
I was like,
extremely
I
dirty.
saw
where do
that
you take this?
actually.
Yeah.
I pulled in. I was like, "Well, look at that! I've never seen his truck dirty like that."
Yeah, so we pull up to where we're going to unload the side by side, and Porter is just like high energy. Like we're going, we're there at perfect time. Like sun's coming up, we're gonna start glassing some elk up at the top, And so he gets in the side by side, and I'm in the grocery getter. I got my team, me, Scott, and Zach, and he's got the gunner, Brandon, and he's got Omar and the camera guys.
No, Joe and Nate.
Oh, I had Omar with
You
me.
had
You're
Omar.
right. So Omar's videoing us looking for elk, and Joe's videoing them hopefully going to kill one. And we're not like that far away from each other. We went to like south on the road system to glass back like into the tops. They were going on the front side to glass the front side of the tops. And we're like 20 minutes into the drive, and we get a radio call. Obviously not good if radios are still connecting, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not far enough from each other. We got some problem or some mechanical issues over here. I'm like, oh fuck. Like that side by side is such a bitch in the cold. Like
Yeah.
I've had other ones that are a problem in the cold. Like they're just kind of, they're warm blooded.
Finicky.
This one is like the worst side by side I've ever had. That just hates the cold. So that's immediately where my mind went, is like, dude, the thing's shutting down, it's bogging down. It doesn't like how cold it is because it's 4 degrees. So that was my thought, thinking it was my fault. I'm like, God, I should have been more truthful with the group of like, yeah, I have a Can-Am and it's awesome, it's closed, but like sometimes it does not want to work in the cold.
Who made the call? You?
No,
Nate.
Nate.
Oh, Nate.
I have, as I'm getting in there, I'm like, I was trying to sell it last night to get people like, oh, you can sleep, and like try to get people to commit to a good plan. As I'm
Which
getting,
I very much appreciate.
as
I
I'm
told
getting
you
in
that.
the yes, as I'm getting in the Can-Am, I'm going. I don't think I've ever even driven one of these before.
And he's telling me, like, you've never seen a side-by-side driver like me. I'll get this thing. How deep you guys say the snow was 4 feet? I'll fucking get this thing to the top.
Oh gosh. So, and like the most experienced guy in the entire group for sure would be Brandon. Like I grew up with one of these
And he's
things.
the one supposed to be
sitting
sleeping.
shotgun. Yeah. And he's like, I'm like, all right, I'll drive so he can look for elk. Nate has his own Can-Am. He's in the back seat. I'm like, as we're getting in, I'm like, why am I driving? But I'm not gonna say anything because I sold
Well,
this
you
plan.
sold it the night
I sold the
before.
plan. So then I'm pumped up. I have like 1-2 days to help kill an elk. They've been in nonstop action. I'm itching. I've got a giant coffee in me at this point. We've been up, it's an hour and a half drive. We're like 30 minutes. I'm such a morning guy. Evening hunts I always hate. Mornings are the best. Like it's always a way better hunt. We're like 30 minutes. I'm a logistics guy, right? We're like 30 minutes later than I think in my head we should be. It's like full daylight.
We could not have been more on time. It was perfect.
I'm thinking we're late. I'm like, we're going there. We got to go fast. Go. Let's go. I start hauling ass. I'm thinking we're late. We got to get to the top.
Yeah, make up time.
In reality, all you got to do is go around the bend, glass the top. Go around the next bend, glass the top.
Gotcha.
I
know what I mean?
haven't
And
even
you're
put
going-
binos
you're going
up. I
straight
don't
to
know
the
where I
top.
am. I don't have any of my offline
Yeah, it's
maps.
kinda
I don't
hard.
even know what's going on. I don't know where it's west. I don't know anything. I start hauling ass. No one says anything. Okay? No one says, oh, hey, it's slippery.
We heard
You
you're a
know,
real man.
Watch out. You know, nothing.
World's
No
best
one
side-by-side
says
driver.
a peep. Maybe 250 yards in. Maybe like 500 yards in.
Not 500.
Like, it's been 2 minutes. We hit our first thing of ice, and we
Fake news. The whole thing is ice. The whole valley
it's
is
the first
ice.
time that I slipped.
The whole valley's ice.
I'm going to spend.
He keeps saying he hit his first patch of ice. The whole fucking valley's ice.
I didn't really know.
You got it full tilt though.
The first time I've touched, I don't even know where I'm at. I don't even know what unit I'm in. I don't know anything. The first thing it gets slippery, 2 seconds go boom right into a log. There's one log on this entire road, and I hit it.
It's a bar ditch with a log.
And I was like, shit.
Are you stuck?
Yeah.
We think we're stuck a little bit. We get out. Brandon goes, man, not so bad, you know. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. We push it back on the road. I'm think we're fine. No one says anything.
They had to deflate all the air in the front tires to
That
get
was
it to
later.
grab on the way
no.
out. So stuck. It was stuck.
No, we deflated the tires to make it perform better. Like 5 minutes
got it.
later. So we're going. It's nothing's feeling right though. We're not. It's slipping like crazy, and like Brandon's like, oh, this road's terrible, and I'm thinking it's all the road, not the Can-Am. All of a sudden, we get up another 1,000 yards or whatever. The tires are going like this. I broke like I don't even know what I broke.
The sway bar or
The
whatever
sway bar.
that keeps the tires straight.
Yeah.
Hit it on the log.
Snapped it.
Snapped it. So now we're sitting there having to winch and this and that, and we're like, we go a little bit farther, and it's like, dude, this thing's in bad shape. We're gonna have to reverse all the way down. I'm like, what? Are you serious?
Because it's snow piling, right? It's like
Yeah.
pizza
Yeah.
and French fries. You know what I mean?
So I'm like,
Pizza in
and
the
the
wrong
last
way.
thing he says before I start hauling ass is like, hey, don't break the thing.
Don't break.
I'm like, okay.
Literally, as we're, this is a funny part of the video because this is all on film. As he's leaving, as we're like breaking trail both ways we're going, I said, please don't break it because anything that's broke, that's mine.
Liable
I got to
for it.
fix it, you know?
Yeah.
And we get in the car and Scott goes, dude, that just reminded me so much of when my teenagers leave the house. All I say is, please make good decisions.
So we have to winch it to turn it around, and then we literally are just going backwards the whole way down.
No elk are getting hunted.
So,
No elk are getting hunted. Now I
so
feel
I'm
terrible.
I'm like way deep with my little grocery getter, like deep into these mesas we're trying to get into. And Nate hits the radio again of like, hey, we're going back to the truck. And he has like quite a bit of excitement in his voice. I'm like, fuck, did they roll it? Like, is somebody hurt?
Oof.
So we get on, we're like, dude, is everyone okay?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to yell. Like, we're okay, but we have to go back to the truck. I'm like, okay, all right, well, I guess we'll go back to the truck too and regroup. Like, take the trailer off and you guys take the other pickup or something. We'll figure it out at the truck.
By the way, the whole time, because I feel terrible. And I'm like, I wasn't like out of control. Where no, just hit that turn a little fast. No, that's just bad luck. I'm
As
like,
soon as you
okay.
get back together, they're all like, man, he.
You know where this is
So-
going.
Oh, yeah,
So
for
I'm like,
sure.
You
I
guys
turn
turned
around.
on me fast.
I turn around and come down.
Threw you under the bus.
And we get to the truck before they do. And I'm like, oh, that isn't a good sign.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're in a side by side. I was almost halfway to the top. So I come around to the truck and we're sitting there waiting, and we're all just kind of talking like, man, I wonder what happened. Zach is one of like the most well-rounded.
Yeah, he's handy.
Like, dude, he knows side by sides, he knows snowmobiles, he knows firearms, he is an incredibly well-rounded guy. Like, he's just super knowledgeable. And he goes, I'm gonna put my money on, XYZ happened and this is what's going on. And we're all kind of laughing. Next thing we know, I'm sitting there, we're all talking. I look out the windshield and here comes the Can-Am backwards in reverse. And we hit the radio and Zach immediately goes, I fucking knew it. I told you exactly what happened. And they're reversing, and I'm on the radio. I'm like, dude, you guys are in reverse. Are you serious? Yeah, we're laughing. And on the radio, I have Porter telling me, there's no way you could have gotten your grocery getter to where I go. There's no way. I'm like, Porter, I was at the top in my grocery getter. Like, you can't talk. Omar's videoing Scott out of my, like, through the, so Scott's on my passenger. He's videoing through me. And he goes, hey, Scott, what kind of pilot do you think Porter would be? And Zach's like answering the question, and we're laughing our asses off. Can't believe he's coming down in reverse. Hunt's over. Like, we got to figure out, we're taking this other thing. I don't remember exactly what happened. All I remember is I get a hand straight to my chest, like hard, from Omar. Bull, bull, bull.
Oh, really?
And I look out my driver's side door, and there's a legal bull running right up this valley, right next to us.
No way.
100%. It's the craziest thing. This truck, I'm not going to, a lot of illegal things happen, so I don't want to say like truck and color. I don't want to throw the guy under the bus.
Sure.
Truck pulls up. Truck's on. Middle of the county road. No orange, no nothing. Open sight 30-30 out the driver window.
No way.
As this bull's running across this meadow.
He
I'm like,
knows
oh,
you're there. He can see you.
We're in the flat, like where you take the buggy off the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the middle of
Right.
where elk are not supposed to be at all. He comes flying up this road.
This dude's got no shame.
No.
And so these guys in the broken side by side are 600-700 yards up the dead flat road up the meadow from us. And so I'm looking through my binos, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch this bull get tipped over by an open sight 30-30 lever action straight out the driver's side door. On the middle of the county road, truck still on.
No orange.
No orange, no nothing. And I'm like watching, and nothing goes off. Well, the bull is like running dead away from him. At least he had some gumption to like not pull the trigger on that one, probably because we were right there. So he comes, he closes, he puts the gun back in his out of the driver's side window, and guns it up the truck up the road, and he turns to where we are, because he can't see the side by side up there either. Well, by that time we had like flagged these guys like bull, yelling. And this bull's just going up this meadow, and Brandon gets out and lays down. Well, that guy sees him do that, and he's like, throws his hands up and like literally fishtails out away from us.
Oh, man.
I'm like, well, that guy's pissed, that this just happened. So this bull was running, gets out there to pretty good distance, and he stands on the side of the hill, and Brandon smashes him. Like, absolutely.
Such a good shot.
All this
smashes.
is going on. Side by side, broken. Porter's backing it down the road.
The only way it happens is if we break the canyon.
Literally the only way.
Okay.
Literally the only way. Now, granted, we were going to get into some elk, because where I was, I had came across 3 cows. I had come across a spike. I was with like the stragglers. I hadn't made it to the top where the herd was. You know what I mean?
Where Porter went with this. That was a nice loop he
So
made
I'm
back
sure-
in.
I'm
It
sure-
wouldn't have had. It was serendipitous. It wouldn't have happened without
I'm
breaking
sure we
the
would have
canyon.
killed. I'm sure we would have seen some elk. I don't know about killing. I don't know. But I was in. My vehicle was in elk. Like I was on the scragglers.
Yep.
I was almost to the top, to where like you could really glass out into these bases. I'm sure they were somewhere up there. Well, this bull was like a massive scraggler for whatever reason. Is like way late to the party.
Sounds like a great pack out.
Great.
So Brandon shoots this thing, and all of us are just dying laughing. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen? The hunt was done. The hunt
We were
was
literally
over.
coming down in reverse and then stop and then just jump out and smoke this bull.
The canyon's broke. We're trying to decide, like, are we going to town for breakfast, or like we gonna go try to fix this thing? Or are you guys cool with taking your pickup up here? Because like it was pretty gnarly roads. Well, anyways, we get this bull killed. Now back to the fun conversation. Porter is like, dude, these roads are so bad. There's no way you could have gotten your car up there. There's no way.
Brandon says these some of the worst roads. They're all talking about how bad the road was. It was super slippery, like constantly in 4-low, reversing.
They were really bad. There's a way to drive a really bad road.
Brandon was talking about how bad the roads were. Again, this is when they were on my side. When we were up and when we broke
Then
it.
they flipped on you.
Yeah.
So Porter's trying to sell how bad the roads are, and I'm like, Porter, Omar's got her on film. Like, I went through 2 washes of like rock waterfall. Like, you just got to know how to get up there. And he's like trying to defend himself. We're having fun with that. We go now to go butcher the elk. All of us. There's like 8 of us. I mean, it's going to be the greatest pack out ever. It's, what was it, 760 yards from the truck
We
or
didn't even
something
put
like
the backpack. We just
Threw a
carried
quarter
it.
on your
I mean,
house
it was
back.
like
that. We
the greatest
go
pack out ever.
out there and we're like taking pictures with the bull. You know, we're all having a good time bullshitting. A 2500 diesel, Dodge diesel with a 4-wheeler in the back comes ripping up the road. The same road that Porter talked about was so bad. 1500 Silverado comes ripping up the road. 2 side-by-sides, one the exact same Can-Am model that I have, are all going up the road. See him at the top, see him make it down. I'm like, Porter, anything can make it up the road.
I was glassing. Oh, they got chains on. That truck has chains on.
I said, yeah, the one truck has chains on. It's a diesel with a 70-year-old driver. Like, yes.
So these guys are telling the story back. The thing like, oh yeah, Porter was just flipping loot, like going so fast, going like a maniac on crack. I'm like, dude, really? No one could have just said, hey, watch the turns, like watch your speed, Porter, anything.
A maniac on crack.
The one thing I've taken from this, Porter's such a great salesman.
Yes.
He sold you guys that he is the wheel man, best side by side driver ever.
Yeah.
We should probably move him to the e-commerce team. And he could do really well at selling some gear in the gear shop. If he can sell all those badass hunters, really experienced side by side guys, that he is the driver.
We gotta nickname him the Wheelman. That's his new name.
Yeah,
I'm
so the wheel
the
man.
worst driver of the 8 of us for sure.
I kind of like the maniac on crack.
They did. I will say they did turn on him because, like, on the radio, they were talking about how bad the roads are, but then video evidence shows that a grocery getter got way further. Than the 1500, the 2 side by sides, the diesel, everything made it up the road.
We would never have been there for this elk. Though.
But we would have never
ever would have been there.
We would have never killed this bull. So, anyways, we get this bull butchered up and back to the truck, and it the hunt was incredible, but there literally cannot have been a more over the counter type experience.
Sure.
Like from Scott's bull, like true pack in all day, scouted it
All
up
the
before.
planning, the prep.
The planning, the prep went perfectly. We were miles and miles away from the truck and as high as we could possibly get with the snow levels. Like just, we killed one bull that way. And the Nate's bull, a little bit of intel.
Sure.
And you think you're going one way. We think they're going one way. Next thing we know, they're 4.5 miles from the truck. I picked them up on the highway. That's how far away from the truck they were. They hiked clear off to get radio connection to be like, hey, can you pick us up at mile marker, whatever? We're on the highway. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys are on the highway. I ran them 5 miles back to their truck up the hill, like one of those.
Yeah.
You think you're going one way,
Yep,
but
and you end up
OTC is
another
just a
one.
whole nother thing.
And then you hike off to a highway and hope for the best.
And luckily we had radio connection, so then we kill one that way, and then we kill one from the buggy.
Yeah.
It's like you literally cannot pick 3 more like.
Sounds exactly like
An
OTC,
OTC.
late season hunting.
And
Sounds fun.
we killed one each
It
of
was
the
so
ways.
fun.
We killed
I was
one.
there for a day, but it was fun.
We killed one each of the ways an OTC hunt like tends to
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was really cool. Like none of them were the same.
That's awesome. And you brought home 3 bulls.
3 bulls in 4 days.
That's awesome.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you do a big celebratory dinner? Or was
Yeah, we had-
everybody like ready to hit the road?
No, we.
Drop Porter at the
Brandon's-
airport?
I'm not.
Did you fly back?
The next day, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding when I say this.
I felt bad.
I'm not kidding when I say this. The Can-Am was broke 7 minutes into the hunt. 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So we killed that bull 40 minutes into the hunt. So it was so early when we killed this bull, like beyond early. So we all went back to town. We boiled out all the skulls. We cut up some backstrap and tenderloins, had it for dinner that night. Like we had a
Nice.
day.
Dude,
We had
yeah,
a full
had a
day
day.
left.
Joe, there was a creek behind the VRBO. Joe went in.
Ice bath in the
we were talking
creek.
about cold. I've been.
He
I've
did?
been
Did
cold
cold
plunging.
plunge?
I've been cold plunging lately. By the way, I did it again this morning. I feel great.
Wow.
But I started talking about Joe's like, oh, I used to do that when I lived in Switzerland. His wife's like from there. He went in there. He did not change his face. Like he just walks in, dunks in, and walks out, and doesn't.
Sits there for a minute and a half.
It's
Doesn't even
snowing.
change
It's
his
snowing
face.
out. I'm like
So cold in running water, like
Wild.
20 mile an hour running water.
wild. He doesn't breathe heavy. He doesn't make it. He doesn't change his facial expression at all.
No.
He was really upset that Porter didn't get in with him. He thought he was going to have some like team bonding, and so we were all trying to.
Couldn't
guilt-
talk him into it, huh?
We were all trying to guilt Porter
I
into
thought
it.
about it for a sec, but
But no, we had a full day left. I mean, we had an hour drive back to the VRBO. We were back to the VRBO by like 11.
It's a great day. My kind of
Sounds awesome.
So we had like a whole day.
Sounds
left.
like a fun hunt.
We had a whole day left. So we hung out and made some back straps. And
Did you guys make plans to do it again next year? You think you want to do it
not
again?
OTC, but we're trying to put together like
Get some tags.
Yeah.
Trying to put together like a true hunt camp like that
Yeah.
again. It's so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
There's something special about like a full blown elk camp or hunt camp for that matter, and everyone goes their different ways, comes back, stories, what'd you see, how'd this go, one kills, okay, I'm coming to help you, you know. It's awesome.
Porter had a crazy 35 hours. Travel day to the next day killing.
Yeah. And then he
Breaking
was
it side by side.
wondering why we were withholding information, because all of us had a 14-hour drive left. He just hopped on a plane and went home.
That's just flying anymore, man. I'm about convinced that flying is for the birds.
When it goes bad, when it goes good, it's good. When it goes bad, though, it's bad.
I might get a point where if it isn't Hawaii or Alaska, I'm just driving.
Yeah, it's when it goes south. I had another one coming back from
It's terrible.
Bend, Oregon this summer with
it
the
sucks.
family
I
where we
haven't had
got
a-
stranded for
I haven't had a regular flight in so long.
Denver Airport, by the way. I felt like I was in Seattle or San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah.
really bad.
Big.
Everyone's in masks and looking like a bunch of crazy people. Anyway, sorry.
Well, thanks for sharing. That was cool. Glad you guys glad to have you back. Everybody's safe and sound. You guys killed 3 bulls.
Yeah.
Third one's thanks to me.
Super cool.
Third one, Porter, the third one is thanks to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, the good news, the Can-Am, it's like a $100 part you can get on Amazon. Not even $40 part.
There you go. Wow.
Could have been
So I
worse.
told Porter the
Meant to
next
be.
piece of content is him ordering that and fixing it himself.
That would
That'd
be
be a good piece of content. Him wrenching.
You can
I
find
can
that
do a
on-
lot of
You
things,
can find
but
it
wrenching on
on
the Can-Am
YouTube,
is-
guaranteed.
Yeah. So that's going to be the next
tutorial.
piece of content.
That's awesome. I love this idea.
Yeah. We all did too. We thought it was great.
Yep. Can't wait.
What a
Cool.
trip. What a trip you guys had.
It was
That was a
awesome.
lot of action.
Nice job, guys.
He's the best guide. I mean,
I didn't do shit.
you guided all those guys. You guided Omar all season. You are a very good guide. You're one of the best.
And I haven't killed an animal for myself lately. So what's that? So what's that tell you?
That's like a guide.
That's the way it goes sometimes. But cool. Thanks for telling us. I'm gonna run before I got to pee my pants. So we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.